That going.
And my coffee.
And your coffee. Morning, everybody. So let's see. We already have some people in here, so I'll say hello real fast to Brooke, Evelyn, Elise, Stacy, Kristen, Pam, and Cheryl. So hi everyone. Good morning. Today I am going to be doing a neon color challenge. I actually blame Emily because she came up with this idea. But I'm going to be doing this with Emily. So everyone say hi to Emily. I'm sure you all know each other. Our channels overlap, but if you don't know Emily, she is on YouTube as well. So make sure to subscribe to her channel. But yeah, today we are going to do neon only colors. I don't remember what sparked this idea because
I think we were trying to think of something like super obscure, like what's something that we haven't done before, or like
it was something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we came up with this months ago, and we just were like, we're trying to figure out a time to make it work. And finally, I was like, on Wednesday. By the way, we're doing this on Sunday.
Yeah, so, like that works.
Yeah, so it's been put off for a while, but yeah, neon only. So obviously, there's colored pencil sets with neons, gel pens. I have some paints I'm going to use as well. So I'll tell you what I'm using, and then I'll let Emily talk about what she's using. But we're both coloring the same page here in Magical Jungle. It's this cute little wreath page, the one next to the butterfly. My butterfly was colored back when I first was coloring with Marco Raffine, so I'm not going to show that because it looks... But so today I'm going to use, I have two sets of watercolor paints from Rachel Beth. They're both neon, woo, and they need some love. And then I'm actually going to be using my Felissimo. I mean, put your sunglasses on for these things. Holy crap. They hurt my eyes, seriously. But there's a Felissimo set called Party, and it literally is like a party for your eyeballs. But all neons. So I'm going to use a combo of just these and hopefully come up with something that looks relatively decent. But what are you going to use, Emily?
Is there a category of all the things? Because that's kind of what I got going. I literally like pulled out all of my color charts, looked at all of my art supplies, and I was like, okay, obviously we know we've got the Prismacolor neons, but I'm like, what else? I even grabbed a highlighter, so but I've got Prismacolors and one Posca because there's like not very many neon green pencils. I mean, there's lots of light green, but I was going for like actual name neon on it. This technically doesn't have a name, so I'm like, it counted as a neon green, so I got one. I've got some Staedtler fine liners. I've got some regular Staedtler markers, which I know I have more of these somewhere, but these are the ones that I found. I've got an orange highlighter. I've got some neon gel pens. These ones are the Solar Pop range, and these ones are the Jelly Roll Moonlight ones. And then I've got some alcohol markers and some pastels. And then also I grabbed the Pinkest Pink and decided to add water to it this morning. Didn't work, but I thought it'd be fun anyway. This way, check.
Oh, I do have some gel pens I grabbed. I forgot.
Move the page here. This is technically, the way that this works is this is like the Pinkest Pink. And the idea is because you can only see a limited number of pixels on your screen, you can't actually see how pink this is. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, it looks radioactive. I should probably close the lid. But it's incredibly pink. And after talking with Tanya, I definitely need to get like a molar and some of the mix-ins and everything. But just for today, I was like, I'm just going to add some water and see what happens. And it's funny because it looks like I made like a weird little potion in this jar. But I had this jar and I was like, oh,
the jar is cute.
Right? Hobby Lobby. I don't even know. I probably won't use it, honestly, because it's like kind of clumpy and weird. But it was an experiment. I wanted to see what happened when I just added water.
Yeah, I am not a neon using gal, so this is gonna be, I have all those Brute Fooner pencils, the Brute Fooner 500s, and I went to go, ooh, that's a really opaque. I went to go look for them, and I was like, oh crap, I put them in this huge bin for my kids.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't about to go fishing out the neons from there. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not that devoted. So I was like, all right, we're gonna work.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I don't really have too many like neon paints or anything, but I've done a neon page once, and it was a challenge way back in the day when I first started coloring, and it was like, okay, let's use the pencils that I never use. And it
Ah,
was the Prismacolors at the time, like I was almost strictly Prismacolor. And the pencils that I just didn't use were the neons. And here's the funny thing is you can always test to see if your colors are truly neon, because if you turn off all your lights and then you put a black light under them, it will actually glow. It'll actually glow. I think I have a video of it somewhere on my Instagram where I turned it off, or I might have put a
how
picture or something.
funny.
But yeah, and it works with like any neons. You put a black light on it, and even though it's like, I mean, it's like you when you go like laser tagging and you're wearing a white shirt or whatever else.
Right.
But yeah. So
I know.
yes, we could very well have radioactive pages.
I was sitting here like I went to open my Felissimos and I was like, oh gosh, I forgot how bright those were. But I decided to because I have this really cute set from Rachel Beth that is super
Yeah, those
neon.
are
It's called
really bright.
yeah, and they're called Hello Spring. They're really cute paints. They're handmade, and I've been meaning to find a use for them. So I was like, oh, ta-da! I was
See, I
gonna
should
break out
just
my. Oh, go
no,
ahead.
no. I was just saying I should just send my pigment to Tanya and have Tanya make the
Yeah.
watercolors. I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
See, like, I find mixing watercolors and mulling them really relaxing, but I don't
Oh,
know
I
if I
can
could ever
imagine
do
that.
it as a business because I'm like, oh, that's so much work.
Yeah, no, I feel like I think it would take like because I've thought about like live streaming video games, but I feel like it would take the relaxation and like the joy out of the video games because like when I play video games, it's easy for me to talk when I'm coloring because hello, have you met me? But also like with the video games, like I don't say much. I don't necessarily want to narrate what I'm doing in the video games, and I just kind of want to sit and stare at the screen. So I'm just like, yeah, maybe not.
I am collecting this loot. Watch me do this.
Right? Like I don't know why I built that thing. I'm just doing it just because.
I a long time ago I used to be a Twitch streamer for my video games, but it took away the joy of doing my video games because I was
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
this feels like a job now. Plus, then I had to, because when you Twitch stream, they often want to see your face in the corner. So I was like, dang it, now I got to put on makeup just to play a
I
video
was
game.
just telling chat that about the other day because I seriously consider because I have a secondary camera usually, and it's just a different angle of whatever it is that we're working on. And so I legitimately tried to think like, well, how could I set up a face cam if I decided I wanted to do them? But the fact of the matter is, when I art, my head is down. And like
Yeah.
if I put the camera like on the table where my head is down, they're just gonna be looking at my nose. And I'm like, there's nothing about this. Oh, I'm not even in frame. Oh my gosh. Janet, where are you? I need you to tell me I'm not in frame. Well, so
I
I was
don't.
just like, this doesn't seem like this could work. Yeah, yeah. And then I was like, then I'm gonna have to do my hair and look presentable. And some days I just want a messy bun and no shower. That's like, thank you, Ev.
Well, like on Sundays, Sunday streams, like I know it's 10 and it's not like necessarily early for me, but I'm like, I don't want to shower and put on makeup
Oh no,
just to
because you're
stream.
like you're anticipating the start of the next day. Wow, this green is like I thought it might be a little bit darker on top of the yellow, but it's really not.
It's
It's okay.
actually
Like I'm tempted to grab another green, but I need to like it's technically I don't have any neon greens, so I need to stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. We're gonna
see
bring in pink. I can
mine.
make this.
I might have to adjust my camera. It's funny on camera, like my neon green
Yeah, it
here,
looks super bright.
it's like, but it's not showing the yellow as much. But it's the yellows at the bottom, the greens near the. I don't know. I was in the shower this morning and I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? Because I
Oh,
don't use
that's right.
neons.
Yeah, well, no, and I've only done it, and I don't even think I filmed it because this was way early in the day. Ev says not to get rid of the Paul cam, right? He does take over as long as he's not putting his butt in the camera. Like we're good. I had to like close the lid the other day. I was like, dear Lord.
Oh
Okay, see, this is
gosh.
working. We got like a yellow undertone with like pink on top. This is gonna
Oh
be
yeah, yeah, I see that.
this is gonna be interesting. This is going to be incredibly bright.
I know that's the thing. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I don't have a migraine today because I would have been like,
Right? Just looking at this all day. Oh my goodness. Well, I suppose, I mean, I have like this green gel pen. Actually, let me try something here. because you really cannot see the green. But I mean, you put any kind of neon green on top of pink, like it's not going to show up.
Neon just takes over.
It does. Okay, we're going to do a little. Wait, no, I'm not going to do that now because I will smear it. Like I'm foreseeing I will smear all of it.
Are you using alcohol markers or water-based ones?
Yes, both. The fine liners and this one random Sharpie. I probably don't need the Sharpie. These are all going to be water based, and then the Arteza ones are all going to be alcohol based. So I put the alcohol ones on the bottom. I'm probably going to do like a mix of like stippling and shading. Like, I don't know. We're going to see where this goes. The only pencil in the group are the Prismacolor ones.
I know. I've got all the Felissimo ones that I'll never ever use outside of this challenge. So I was like, perfect. But then I'm sitting here like, okay, for some reason I was like, I want to do a neon border. And then watch, this is all I accomplished today. But
well, see, I'm trying to normally my instinct is to grab like a darker color and do shadow, but I think I'm gonna need to think outside the box a little bit when it comes to shadow. I mean, if I'm not using any blacks or browns or purples, so I'm just like, well, I think that's where the gel pens are gonna come in, because the gel pens will sit on top of the color, so I could use the gel pens as sort of like a stippling shadow, I think. Well, see, when I have it next to the green and the pink, I don't know, it looks so camera's a little.
I can see it.
Brighter.
Yeah.
Darker? I don't like that dark. We're gonna leave that there.
I was gonna grab my highlighters, but then I was just like, oh, will I? I have a couple Tombos that are like neonish colors, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna. I don't want to overwhelm myself with options, because then half the time I'll sit here like, oh, maybe I should do this. No, I'm gonna do this.
Well, now here's the question though: can we use the white of the paper?
I'd say so.
Okay.
I mean,
give me just a little something, because I mean, I got these orchids here. Neon orchids are going to be a little rough, but if I can just use pink on them, I think I can make it work. I mean, if I can do like a one pencil challenge, surely I can manage a pile of random neon art supplies.
Neon colors. See, my problem is these paints here, they definitely have some like PW6 mixed into them. So I'm trying not to get on the lines.
What's PW6?
It's a white titanium.
Oh, okay.
That they mix with the paint. So it's opaque, and I'm trying not to cover my lines too much with it. Because then
it just takes practice, Stacy. Yeah, ambient. I feel that way sometimes on pages. I definitely some of you saw me on Friday. I was working on this page. We done like 2 parts to it. Friday stream rolled around, and I don't know about you, but it's end of the school year, and it's chaotic and crazy. My brain is all over the place. Anyway, I tried to catch up on the page before stream, like a couple hours before stream, and I just I don't know, I was fudging the gel pens and everything, and I got on stream and I was like, so I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. So we're gonna paint. Okay, to be fair, I did ask chat's opinion before I just, it's still sitting over here, sadly dejected on top of my printer. But I was like, I can't bring myself to do this
anymore. I have quite a few pages this month that I'm just like, no. But yeah, the end of the school year has not. I don't know. It's always crazy. And you'd think it would be more relaxing, because they don't really have homework anymore. It's just,
you'd think, but no, it's all the activities and the shows and the events. And I literally had to color code our calendar and everything, because it's just here. We literally have something going on every day. I will be glad for June. We can take a deep breath and just all right, now we can plan the summer.
I know.
Hi,
I'm
Carol.
just all the kids home. Oh my, it'll be.
Well, I guess you got summer activities. I don't know. I haven't really planned any summer sports or anything. It is just so hot here during the summertime. I honestly would rather just go and do a few activities rather than forced outside sports time, because it's just too hot. It's just too much.
Well, and see for us, so my son's in soccer, and so he'll have tournaments this summer,
Mm.
and so we'll be out there, and it gets hot here too in the summer, and I'm just like, oh,
Well, little Steve did an outdoor sport last summer that they planned for the practices to like be in the evening, but there was a event like a meet with all the other schools or clubs or groups or whatever around. It was
uh-huh.
104 or 102. Like I was
Ugh,
like, this is like I can't. He wants to do it again this year, but I just don't think I can take the heat. Like it's just too much.
I can't handle it. Like when a couple of our tournaments last year, it was in the hundreds as well. And we were just frying, and the players were like, you constantly had to just go like spritz them with water, dump ice on them, and
Oof,
like,
yeah.
and then they had to go back out there and, of course, run around. And it like they had to change players out constantly because the guys were just getting heat stroke. But
Oh, yeah, that the
um,
heat is brutal. I mean, if we live somewhere more northern, like maybe, but I mean, hello, it's
yeah.
Texas. Like my plants are already. I got these flowers that I was like gonna put in the garden and everything, but then we had like a week of just downpour, and I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, as it is, the garden that we had already planted with like seedlings, it was getting flooded. Like the leaves are all yellow because it's been overwatered because it's just been torrential, like
Yeah.
crazy downpour. And so the poor little flowers in the little pots were getting all beat up and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just move them to the front where they're covered, and then we will plant them after the rain stops. Well, I kind of maybe sort of a little bit forgot about them. And like half of them are dead now. And I'm like, well, this is a great start to the garden this year. Half of them are drowned and the other half are dried out because they're dead. I clearly should not be trusted with plant life.
We have, like, so I don't know about anyone else, but like our spring honestly didn't kick off till like 2 weeks ago. So,
Mm.
like, we've had some really wacky weather, but like everyone's having allergies now because everything's
Hmm.
finally blooming. And then we wanted to plant trees to help work, some shade. But yeah, that's not going to happen because it went from being constantly 60, 50, 60s and raining to 85. And I'm like, well, all right. I guess that
I guess
window's
that
over.
happened. Oh, I
That's how
know it's
Utah
Stacy.
is.
They're growing up entirely too fast. I mean, like I'm in my 30s, and even my own mom is just oh, I'm just like, I know. Oh,
I know
happy late
it's,
birthday, Carol.
oh, is it Carol's birthday?
It's
Happy
Carol's
birthday.
granddaughter's
Oh,
birthday.
granddaughters. Happy
Yeah,
birthday to
hi,
her.
Shell. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know. I think the theme of this summer is we'll go and we'll do activities like when we can go out. Like there's a hiking place I want to take the kids to and everything, but I kind of just feel like we need to recuperate from this school year. I'm like, can we just take a minute, take a breather, and just not do anything except like
oh,
hang
yeah.
out? I don't know.
I can't, well, we can't even make plans because so on Tuesday, my daughter thought it would be a smart idea to break her arm.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. How is she doing? I saw that picture. I was just like, that was like there was nobody in the room with me when I saw the picture, and I like let out an audible cringe. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
not a good break. So like last year, my youngest broke her leg, but and that was a nightmare. But this year, it's my other one. And she had a ballet recital on Thursday, so she missed that, so she's really upset.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was at my son's soccer game, and I guess she was playing on the swing set. My husband was home, and she fell off, like, those little swinging trapeze bars they
Yeah.
have on swing sets. So she was on that. It's not high up. She wasn't doing anything crazy, but just fell off, landed on her arm, and I thought it was like dislocated. So we go to the ER, ugh, the
She
glorious
wasn't like
ER. Oh
crying and
no,
like
she was
screaming. Like I feel like it would be pretty loud. Like if
she
one normally
was.
hurts herself, I'm like, honey, if it was broken, you would be screaming a lot louder right now.
Oh, yeah, she was screaming, but we just thought it was, like, dislocated,
Yeah.
'cause she couldn't move her arm, and so I was like, "Okay, it's
Oh,
probably dislocated the way you landed, 'cause
yeah.
it's pretty it takes talent to break your humerus is what she broke, and that's a
Oh,
big bone in
yeah,
your arm.
like, she had to I mean, it wasn't a crack, it wasn't a split, it wasn't like a
No,
tiny
that thing
no, that was full on, like, "I don't need my arm anymore. Here, take this one."
Yeah, that thing she didn't so it's not even a fracture, it's a full out break,
Oh,
but
yeah.
sadly, we went to the orthopedic surgeon, and it's too high to cast.
Really?
Yeah, because it's above her armpit. It's just below the growth
Oh,
plate and
so
the
what did they
shoulder.
do?
So she has to be in a sling, unfortunately. And
How
I was
can a
like,
break that bad only be, like, in a sling? Like,
sling.
I'm
I
like, are
know.
we talking surgery, pins in the arm? Like,
Well,
hold the
so
thing still.
that's the problem. So if it was an adult, automatic surgery for this
Yeah,
type of break. But with kids, they like to
because
try
they're
and
so
see if it'll
small?
well, and their bones heal faster than like us
Mm,
adults, you know? But
yeah.
they're going to in 2 weeks, we're gonna go back, do another set of x-rays, but she's on strict bed rest. She has to lay flat.
Yeah, like, no moving
Yeah, she
whatsoever,
can't
like,
move.
I was gonna
It's
say, like, is it one of those slings where it's, like, pinned to her chest
yeah.
where she can't move it?
It's pinned to her body, so she can't move the arm at all,
Oh
because
my
obviously the
gosh.
bones need to stay there. But
Well,
she's on bed
yeah.
rest for 2 weeks, can't get up.
Oh, poor
And then
girl. Lots
we're
of video games,
hoping,
man. I would say snuggles too, but you don't wanna, like,
yeah, you
shake
can't.
it.
Oh,
Oh my
Nightbot,
gosh.
you're saying the wrong info, Nightbot. I forgot to change
Oh.
that. Hang on. Hello. Yeah. Well, the problem for her is like, um, we've so basically what we have to do is in 2 weeks they're gonna see if it's starting to fuse.
Yeah.
And if it is, then what they're going to do is let it continue to heal in the sling. However, if we go back in 2 weeks and it's not, they're going to have to operate. So
Oh
because
my
it is so
gosh.
high, and that
How is she
so we're
handling it
like,
all?
well, she's on a lot of pain meds, so
Well, that'll do it, yeah.
but she doesn't like them. Or and the problem is she's such an independent little thing. She hates asking for help. So I'll catch her like getting up
Mm.
and she's like, I'm just getting water. And I'm like, no, what does bed rest mean? Like, lay down. And so she feels bad like asking for help, and we're
Oh.
I'm just like, you gotta ask because otherwise this is not gonna heal the way we want it to, and then
She
we're gonna
needs
have
like
to
a
go the
little, like one of those little ding ding bells, like the ones that they have at like hotels.
oh yeah, where you ring
Be like
it.
ding ding.
I know, and like I tell her, I'm like, if you're in pain, tell me before it like gets super bad. Like,
Yeah.
because it's hard to tell with her because you'll like, are you in pain? No, and then she starts like tearing up. And you're like, okay, obviously you are. Like,
Oh.
just tell me.
Oh my
So we're,
gosh.
but she's bummed. She was supposed to try out for the competition ballet team this
Oh.
Monday, and obviously that's not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, poor
like,
girl.
I know she's.
Hi,
I'm
Shannon.
Oh, hi, Shannon. I'm hoping I get like frequent flyer miles though at the orthopedic surgeon because
Wouldn't
the
that be nice
surgeon,
if that's how it worked with
yeah.
like how often we bring our kids in? Like, ooh, they should make that for the vet too. Can we get that for the
Oh
vet?
gosh,
Like,
I would make a killing on miles there, but no,
yeah.
I'm like, it's funny because we are seeing the doctor that my son saw when he broke his clavicle and broke his hand. And so like the physician assistant was like, "You look familiar." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
here." And then I was like, "I was also here all last summer with my daughter who broke her leg."
Oh my
And she's like,
gosh.
"Oh, that's right." And I'm like, "I swear, like the ER soon, because we keep going to the same ER. They're gonna be like, oh, hi, it's you again."
You're like, I'm
But
not doing this on purpose. Like, you
I
guys are nice
know.
enough, but I don't like you that much.
But I'm like, gosh,
Hi,
they've got to have
Emily.
us like on a warning list by now. We've
Seriously, like,
shown
just
up
so
too
you know, there's
much.
a very high possibility this family may come in.
I know, and we're making a habit of doing it right before summer break. So I'm just like,
Right.
okay,
Well, at
But
least I
yeah.
mean, I know she's missing out on the thing, but at least she can like recover over the summer and she's not gonna like be missing out on massive school stuff or, attendance days or whatever else.
Yeah, she's just bummed because I know she had a girls' camp coming up in June that
Yeah.
she can't go to because it'll have to heal in the sling the whole 6 to 12 weeks is what they told us. I'm like, wow, that's quite a
Oh my
range.
gosh.
Can we
Yeah, a little
narrow that
bit.
down?
Like only a
But
little. It's so funny. This neon gel pen looks so much darker in real life than it does
on camera,
like on camera. Yeah. So I can zoom in a
it's
little bit. Here we go.
so I made it like this far with my neon paints. Whew.
Nice.
I might start adding pencils soon just to give my brain a break, but
Yeah, I feel
it's
like I
like,
got a good night's sleep after Friday. I'm like, okay, we've had a little bit of a mental reset. We're gonna refocus. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll try on that page that I was like, throwing in the towel on. I'm like, well, we can
um,
try.
oh, Elise, no, it wasn't my youngest again. Oh my gosh, if she was the one that broke another bone, I'd be like, all right, girl, she drinks enough milk. But no, it wasn't the one that broke her leg. It's my 10-year-old, who kindly reminded me that she'll be celebrating her birthday this summer in a sling. And I was like,
And
but
just so you know, mother, you need to
yeah.
make this a very good birthday because I am sad.
Yeah, she kind of was like, I'm gonna have my birthday in a sling, and I'm like, okay,
Oh.
guess
Well,
we'll have
maybe
to get
you could
you.
like do a thing where she takes like five of her closest friends and you guys like go see a movie. That doesn't require a lot of activity or anything.
Yeah, we just have to wait until she's cleared to sit up because, like, right now she can't even
Oh,
sit
she can't
up.
even. Oh,
No,
yeah.
the weight of the bones
Oh gosh,
against
and
one
she can't
another.
even like really do video games because you need at least
Uh-uh.
two hands like to even just play on the Switch. Like, oh, that poor girl.
Yeah,
Well, what's she
she's just
doing? Just a lot
watching.
of TV or
Pretty much, yeah, she
Hmm.
tried like, she sat up for a little bit and tried to play, a computer game, and she was in too much pain. Because the problem is if you sit up, it's the weight of the bones,
Yeah.
pulling on one another, so it's just too much for her, so
Oh, poor girl.
we're hoping at least they'll start to fuse so she can at least sit up.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I
that's so
mean,
rough. What kind of time frame did they give her for like when it will fuse together?
so when we go back the first week of June, they'll X-ray, and they're hoping they'll start seeing the bones start to come together by then, because
Yeah.
kids, their bones glue back together a lot faster than us adults. But
Oh, yeah.
that's when they'll, if it's starting to grow new bone and fuse, then she'll start to be able to sit up and do some more activities. But yeah, the problem is without a cast, we have to just be careful that no one bumps her, or she doesn't
Oh,
like
yeah,
do
for sure.
anything because
I've
there's
never full
nothing.
on done like a bone breaking like the one that she did, but I did fracture my ankle the day I found out I was pregnant with little Emily.
Oh
And
no.
so I actually told Steve that I was pregnant in the emergency room right before they went to set my ankle. But the part about it that sucks so much is because I was so newly pregnant, I couldn't take anything other than Tylenol for the pain.
Oh,
And so it was and it was really early on, so we hadn't really told anyone that I was pregnant yet. And so like I had posted to like family and friends and stuff like, oh hey, this happened, and I shared a picture or whatever else. And they're like, oh, just take this and this and this. And I'm like sitting there going, I can't take this and this and this. I'm pregnant. I mean, I couldn't say it yet, but I was just like, this
right.
can't happen yet. Sorry.
No, it's not her dominant arm, luckily. So we kind of got lucky there. She is hoping once she's able to sit up, she'll be able to like, do some coloring or something. But yeah,
Oh, I
we'll
think
see.
Queen asked, is it her dominant arm?
No, it's not. It's her.
Oh, that's good
Excuse
at
me.
least.
She's right-handed and she broke her left arm. And luckily she's a ballerina, so arms aren't used a ton other than to balance yourself.
Oh yeah,
But
reading, or she could do audiobooks too.
yeah, I've been trying to get her to do some audio, or not audio, Kindle books, because I was like, look, we can
Mm.
prop it up. I'm making sure this is dry so I can use pencils. But she's kind of right now it's all too much.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's also on like hydrocodone, so she's like,
What kind of books does she like to read at this age?
you know, oh crap! I'm trying to think of that series. Something with a polar bear on it, and then there's something with
Mm.
dragons.
There's
Fire.
I know my kiddos are really into Wings of Fire.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
she
yeah,
reads.
they're doing like they like the graphic novels of it. Although I'm realizing I should have done a darker green on some of these ones. Oh well, we're gonna roll with it. It's too late now.
Yeah,
Yeah, they like
she does
the Wings of
those.
Fire, and then little Emily. There's a series that she likes, but that's also because she has a strong love of Tinkerbell. There's a book series called the Never Girl series,
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
but I don't know where where your kiddos at in what they like for reading. It might be a little young. Okay,
Yeah,
how can
so
I?
she turns 11 this July, but
Mm,
she does do the Wings of Fire. I think she has one book left to read in that
yeah,
series.
mine
Where's
like
my gosh.
the graphic novels. Well, book 7, books 1 through 6 are out in the graphic novels, and then book 7 is coming out later this year. I asked my kids if they wanted to like read the um um, um like the non-graphic novel version because those books are out, but they're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. The
So they
graphic
like the
novel. It's like,
graphic
oh,
ones.
okay, yeah, yeah, much. Well, I mean, it's fair. I mean, a graphic novel is
Yeah.
basically like a comic book. I don't know if this is right in. No.
Let's zoom myself in.
Do I have a yellow of these? These moonlight ones are working really well. I like them a lot. I just need to.
Well, I don't
Surely
need
I've got a yellow moonlight one somewhere. Oh, I wonder if I have it out already. Sorry, I'm
Oh,
sort of
yes.
like talking to
We do
myself
have the
too.
Harry Potter books. In fact, my son got them as a gift a long time ago. I don't even think he read them. That little turd. But he's not. He used to be a big reader, so everyone like got him. He's got the whole Lemony Snicket's collection, but he hasn't read it. So yeah, it's kind of funny with him. But we do have the Harry Potter ones. I know that because their uncle was really into Harry Potter, so he bought my son the whole box set. So maybe I'll see if she'll read those. But
Oh,
gotta
thanks,
wait till
Ambient.
she's not.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Oh
like
yeah,
this
it does
green
look
was a
good.
mistake. Either that or I need to like add in more green leaves. Like I didn't add any green in this one.
I'm gonna try these names on these pencils. This is called She's Fierce, and it's like freaking
Oh, I thought you
so
said
bright.
cheese fierce. I'm like, wait,
No,
cheese?
she's
I
could be
mean,
fierce
fierce
cheese.
cheese. It could be a thing. I don't know. Fierce cheese sounds a little frightening and dangerous, but I'll roll with it. It's cool. To each his own.
Let's see. Percy Jackson. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. It's so funny because there's like so many books that like you try like when I was a kid, I read Nancy Drew. So
Oh yeah, I still have some of my old Nancy Drews. I actually tried to get little Emily to read Nancy Drew, but I think it was just the pace of the book was too
uh,
slow. And so I was just like, all right, maybe we're not quite ready for it, but that day will come. That day will come.
yeah, I think sometimes and I'm trying to remember how old I was when I read that, but I've noticed like a lot of kids they almost need to read it at an older age than when we read it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've just
Well, I mean,
noticed
because there's
that.
so much competition now for like entertainment stuff
Oh
that they
yeah.
have like more like intense. I can't think of the word right now, but Judy
Let's see. There's
Bloom, Hardy Boys, and oh, I spilled some coffee.
oh, you know
Reading
what? We
chat
have
and making a mess.
I'm trying to think, is it Judy Bloom we have or we have a few cute little series. I don't know. I've offered her a million options. I'm like, do you want to do this? No. Do you want to do this? No. So I'm like, okay, maybe you'll change your mind like once you're like a little bit more mobile. I don't know.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Let's see.
I'm
What do I want to do
trying not to
with
force anything.
right? I've got
On
these
nothing.
other like marker colors, but I feel like my instinct is I want to just keep it all like yellow based. But
Uh-huh.
because none of the colors are going to be dark enough, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna just jump in with it, and we're gonna do a pink base. That could happen. I
I
don't
know.
know. I could
I'm
regret
sitting here
this. I have
like,
no idea.
my problem is I'm like, okay, do I want the
See, and that's fuchsia.
leaves
That's not even
green?
that. I didn't really have like a neon pink. This is hot pink. This might work better. Yeah, that's a little
Pink.
bit brighter.
Debating what color I'm going to do all these leaves
Actually,
in.
I wonder if I could. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I don't know. I could just this could be just like a mulligan flower. This could just be a complete disaster. We'll see. I'll be like this flower does not exist in this time and space.
Oops. Why are these so soft today? My pencils are really soft for
Yep.
some
Nope. This was a
reason.
mistake. All
Mistakes were
right.
made.
Yep. Mistakes were made. I immediately regret this decision. Okay, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. It's fine.
I mean, it's a neon challenge, so. Oh,
Oh my
Babysitter Club.
gosh,
I forgot
yes,
about that
Where
one.
the Red Fern Grows. I read it and saw the movie, and it's so friggin' sad. It's the same reason why I won't show them like Old Yeller. It's so sad. Can't do it. Like, just I want a dodo story, not a this doesn't end well for the puppy story.
And well for the puppy.
Have you? Well, you've read Where the Red Fern Grows, right?
Oh yeah, it was a required reading in school.
Right? Yes, I know.
Although I don't think it is anymore. Like everything we were required to read as kids was like basically removed from school now. So I'm like, oh, this is your required reading? Why? Like,
yeah,
I even asked my son.
There's been like some Roald Dahl stuff that they've been reading at school that's been a little questionable, but I don't know. At some point, I suppose they need to be aware of the way the world. Oh, that's getting slightly more yellow now. Putting the yellow on top. I don't know. This flower may just end up awful.
The Scarlet Letter. I know that one was taken out.
Yeah,
of
they
school,
pulled that one, I think. Yeah,
which is dumb, but I mean, I get it. Like, but some of those are, just literary classics. They have so much to like give in terms of not just the story, but like history.
Yeah,
And
making you
so
think a little bit. And
yeah, so I'm kind of like, do we have to remove everything? Like, because some of these books my kids are reading, I'm like, I've never heard of this. This is a book now? Okay.
Yeah, right.
So
well, kiddo got a summer reading list, and one of the books on there was Holes. So I actually ordered her Holes, and then I'm going to let her watch the movie after she's read it.
Wait, what's it called?
Holes. Have you not seen Holes?
I haven't.
Yeah, so this is when the movie came out, it was Shia LaBeouf before he started making questionable decisions. But basically it's a story. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know. You'd have to basically no, I don't even know how I can sum it up. Like it's an interesting story all by itself. It's if you don't want to read the book, the movie is at least entertaining. Now, granted, the movie is geared towards young teenagers, so not even like young adult level. So it definitely has almost not a quite Disney feel to it, but also a little bit of a Disney feel, except for it does like there are people that like it's got like kissing Kate Barlow or something, and she's like an outlaw. Like it's kind of the story, the history of it is like Western based, and then the kids like I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm doing a terrible job. Just search IMDb Holes, but it's good. It's good. I like it.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh yeah, the Babysitters Club. I think I read a few of those. I could never read any of the Goosebumps series. That always
I couldn't either. My daughter can't handle those.
No, I think that would be like, yeah, I couldn't do that.
But I told her, I was like, I've got a Kindle, like we can, and it props up, So I was like, let's get you some ebooks and like you can read because I don't want you to rot your mind watching YouTube all day.
Right, which is entirely a thing. Okay,
but
these pencils on top of these markers is not working. Thank God for gel pens. Gel pens are gonna save the day.
At the same time, you don't want to be a jerk when your kid has a broken arm and is in pain. So you're like,
right?
All right, watch this stupid.
Well, it's like when they're sick. Like they literally, if they've got a fever, all they
Yeah.
can do is just lay in their room. And it's just like, okay, they've had plenty of screen time. Like your instinct is like, tell them to get off screen time. They need to get some fresh air. But it's like, oh, wait, they have a fever. They literally can't do anything. So I will, because I mean, you can't really spend quality time with them when they're sick. They need to just
Right.
recuperate. And goodness knows you don't want to get sick. So as an alternative, I sort of meet them halfway. So especially little Steve, if he is sick and stuck in his room, we've got they each have a Switch. I mean, let's be honest, Steve and I bought them for us, but now that the kids are old enough to do any kind of game console, like they're basically theirs. So what we'll do is I will play Minecraft with him so I can be in my office. And so, we interact and we hang out together, but he just, can't really do much more than TV or screen time when you're sick. And I mean, I remember as a kid, that was the perk of being sick, is that you got to
watch TV.
Yeah, you got to watch TV uninterrupted and guilt-free. I mean, if you're sick, well, it's like, yeah, that's the perk.
See, our problem was when I was growing up, we didn't have cable or TV or,
Oh yeah,
or
us
even
either.
like anything. So I was like reading, and then so I was like, no, it's fine. I got 103 fever. I'm going to school. Like, I don't want to be here. But
yeah, I mean, we had an antenna where on Saturday mornings, if we bent it the right way, we could, watch some cartoons. But then my mom came in well, if you can get up early enough to watch cartoons on Saturday, then you can sure as heck not complain to get up on school morning. So to spite her, I didn't get up for cartoons anymore. I'm like, well, just watch.
Oh my gosh. It always cracks me up how kids can miraculously wake up on time on the weekends. Then school days, you're like, get out of bed.
Like, no. Although then you do the opposite where, so a lot of times Steve will get up with the kids in the morning. We kind of have it worked out where I do the afternoon stuff. He does the morning stuff. It'll change for next year, but for now, that's what we're doing. And so, but what they've been doing, he told me, he's like, all right, you got to get up with them now. I'm like, wait, why? And it's because apparently the kids have been getting up early, specifically to just startle him. So they got up and got dressed before he came in to wake them up. And then they like stood behind their bedroom door and then scared the crud out of him when he came in to wake them up. He's like, I'm not doing it anymore. And I'm like, oh no.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my kids would not probably be the ones to do that. They'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm sleeping in.
You're like, I'm gonna stay in bed. Like, well, okay then. All right, I'm gonna try.
Well, I mean, I've got a teenage boy, so
yeah,
getting them up and moving is like, hi there.
Who am I kidding? I'm a grown adult, and even I don't want to get up. I'm like, so sleeping till noon is totally acceptable, right? Like, it's fine. Just fine. We don't have, adult responsibilities to take care of, right? Like,
I'm so sick of it being an adult. I want to go.
Oh, it's way overrated. Way overhyped. Like, they showed us the trailer to being an adult, but they only took out, took the fun parts, like a good movie. Yeah. And then you actually got to the movie and you're like, well, the popcorn's stale and something's sticky on the floor, and I've already missed half the movie.
Yeah, there's every time my kids are like, I can't wait to be older. I'm like,
no, don't say it. Just take it back. Just enjoy your time.
Eventually you'll be like my age and be like, crap, I want my biggest problem of the day to be that my mom made me do a chore. Like,
right? Like, oh no, I have to clean my room again. Not, oh no, I have to pay my bills again.
Or scrub all the toilets or clean the grout.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and somebody just vomited on the floor. Well, now we got to find out why they're doing that. I mean, are you truly a mom if you haven't tried to catch it with your hand? All I'm saying. These are the things they don't talk about. It's like, oh, sure, there's the pregnancy and the birth, and enjoy them while they're young. And then there's also, well, I'll probably stop talking about vomit. Everyone's gonna leave, but you get the point. Like, they need to advertise the other stuff too.
Well, so I remember when I was pregnant with my first, I read the What to Expect When You're Expecting, and that doesn't like give you a ton. But
no.
Then I was pregnant with my second, and a friend gave me I forget what it was called, but it was like the Real Deal Guide to Pregnancy, and it was like 100% honest. And I was laughing so hard because I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh my gosh, this
seriously.
is all so true." But it was like talking about how to buy onesies that you're okay cutting off because they're gonna have a diaper one day where you're like, "Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not gonna
absolutely.
save this
That
outfit."
that being said, though, like if we're talking brands of onesies, like Carter's all the way, the Gerber
Oh,
onesies
yeah.
always shrunk like constantly. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know. Like
were,
I
like,
have,
teeny.
yeah, right. I always have my go-to gifts for like new moms. First of all, whenever I give a gift for a new mom, I always give it in not a gift bag or wrapped. I give it in a useful, reusable container. Like even those collapsible like canvas boxes that go in like the cube storage ones. They
Oh, yeah,
cost the
yeah.
same amount as a gift bag, and you know what? They can store diapers in it afterwards. Like it's reusable. My mother-in-law got me a gift one time, and she put it all in a mixing bowl, like a big red mixing bowl. You know how many times I've used that mixing bowl? Like a bajillion. Oh yeah, Blue Daisy, absolutely. Like we've had them at Target, uh, where one of them was really little, and I had them like in the baby
Oh.
carrier, and then it was just like explosion in Target. I'm like, well, that cut this shopping trip short.
Uh, Hi, Christy. Yeah, my, I don't know, like, I used to laugh at the Love's commercials where they would, like, show, first baby and the
First
mom's,
kid,
like,
yeah, and
all
then hands the baby to the mechanic and
sanitized.
grabs a
Yeah.
single diaper. It's like, where are the wipes? Like, I don't know.
I loved those commercials because they were so true. Like, the first baby, you're like, "No, no, you need to sanitize," and then by the second
Yeah.
one, you're like, "I don't even care. Here, just take this
Like,
thing.
here,
I
just
gotta
take the
go."
kid. I will
Yeah.
say I did keep some of the habits of things that I carry with me. So like the other day, we took the kids to like a splash pad place. And I don't know about you, and I
Uh-huh.
don't know how many times you've taken your kids to the splash pad, but inevitably someone slips on the wet
Oh,
cement
yeah.
and eats it, you know? And so I have this little first aid kit that I've kind of made up myself, and in it I've got mosquito repellent, I've got sunscreen, I've got band-aids, I've got, like it's this whole smorgasbord of things that you need, because like it like I'm kind of known in our parental group as the one who comes prepared. Like I'm the MacGyver of parents, but it's only because I'm so paranoid and I don't want to be caught without a band-aid.
I know. I've got like a huge first aid kit in my car, but my husband's a firefighter, so it would look really bad if I didn't. Bad for
Oh,
business.
right. Yeah.
I'm
Kind of
like, yeah.
trained to plan ahead for those things. I mean, your vehicle's not going to burst into flames, but you need an ice pack and at least three
I know.
band-aids.
We've got like everything. So like if we're on the soccer field and someone gets hurt, it's like, nah, I got it. It's cool. What do you need? I got like a whole arsenal of first aid supplies back here.
That's hilarious.
I'm trying to
It's just,
find.
you feel like you can relax and enjoy things so much better when you know that you are prepared.
So weird. This color is in the set, but it's like more of a dark. It's not really neon, so I don't want to use
Oh.
it. But my gosh, some of these like yellow pencils that were hurting my eyeballs.
Yeah, these
Whew.
are like I'm definitely like layering over the top. Like it still looks dark on my. So I wonder if I do it a little bit. I suppose that's a
I'm
little bit more. A little bit more like
gonna
it.
try these ones. I'm like, I should have put sunglasses on for this challenge.
Right? But
Let's
it'll look cool
see.
when done. I know my kids like have a black light somewhere. I should probably like see if I can find it and like test. Be like, all right, how black lighty is this really?
Yeah, it's funny though, because like the neon colors, when anytime I get a pencil set and they're in there, I'm like, oh cool. Okay, here, kids. And
Yeah, you don't really use them.
no, I just have never had a real need for them, but it's like, okay, this will be good for me to use some of these paints, and then of course this Bellissimo
A
set that's killing my eyeballs. But
little bit. I
let's
wonder if
see,
I use this other green.
Neosporin and Band-Aids in every room of our house. That's actually smart. My biggest pet peeve though at our house is kids will get Band-Aids for things that aren't actually bleeding. And I'm like, okay, listen, if it's
Mm.
not dripping blood, you don't need a Band-Aid. Like, stop it. Because I'll go to get Band-Aids and they're all gone. And I'm like, okay, who is dying that much? Like, you
Well,
need
what we did
actual
is like
blood.
at Christmas time, one of the things we would put in the stocking are character band-aids. Because I remember my mom did that for us because we were the same way where we go and we'd use up all the band-aids. Okay, so the solution is get them their own band-aids that are play band-aids. Until we realized how impossible they were to clean off stuffed animals. that got
Oh,
said band-aids stuck on them. There are stuffed animals that still to this day have like pieces of band-aid sticky on
Band-Aid.
them. So yeah, we stopped with the band-aids for Christmas stuff, and it's just like, yeah, because then they'd stick them on themselves and then ask us to like take them off for them, but then there was always kind of screaming because they were afraid of them coming off, and it's just like, well, we gotta make a decision here.
Yeah. Like
Oh, there
even
you
my
go, 40. Yeah, use it. That's what I'm doing with these ones. I'm using it as a base.
oh, the highlighter, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
like
not hating this, honestly. Like,
that doesn't look
I
bad at
don't know.
all.
Yeah, I mean, it's got personality.
It's bright.
Yes, exactly. It's incredibly bright. Like, it's just like, oh, well, now I'm blind. That's awesome.
That's why I said I was like, and I've got like the morning sun coming through my window, so I'm like, ah, dear goodness.
Oh gosh, I don't even have the blinds open right now. I've just got the lights above me.
I
I don't
like,
know. Like, we have houses that aren't too far from us. Like, if we really wanted to, we
oh,
could see each other's windows. So I thought about positioning myself in front of the window and opening the blinds, but then I'm just like, my neighbors are just going to be staring at me, and that feels weird.
yeah. See, like I'm kind of lucky. Like there's nothing
Yeah, you're kind of
anywhere
out in the country,
close.
aren't you?
Yeah, well, except for the high school that's now being built across the street.
Oh,
So,
that's right. Well, they've been working on that for a while. Do they, like, is there a sign like says coming 2024, or do they give you any kind of like
um, oh
clue as
yeah,
to when they're going to be done?
we knew when it was going to be ready the second they broke ground. So it'll be ready not this fall, but next, and it'll actually be the year my son goes to high school. Because out here, ninth grade, which is freshman, they do it
Yeah.
junior high.
Oh,
Where I grew up,
interesting.
yeah, in California, where I grew up, you went to high school for freshman year, but in
Yeah,
Utah,
same
they're
here. We
like,
did like first through fifth, then sixth through eighth, and then ninth through 12th. Here they do it a little bit different too. They have like an intermediate school. So it goes like first through fourth, then fifth and
huh,
sixth, then seven, eight for junior high, and then nine through 12 for high school, which is kind of nice because I feel like the kids, I mean, because the difference between a sixth grader and an eighth grader is like night and day. And so it's nice that, they're not
right.
put in with the older kids.
Well, see, the only weird thing is, so like, this upcoming year he'll be a freshman, but if he wants to play sports, he'll actually be trying out for the high school team,
Oh,
but not
interesting.
attending the high school. So he'll have to be going to the high school that he's zoned for right now, and then in
Hmm.
10th grade, when he actually starts high school, he'll be going to the one across the street. But
That'd be so nice though. You can just walk over there. You don't have to worry about
oh yeah.
pickup.
And then if he's on the soccer team, I can be like, "All right, go to practice, and I'll catch your
Yeah.
game." And on away games, I'll just be like, "Good luck."
Peace out, kid. Have fun.
But no, I mean, I actually don't mind it too much. It's not going to be too like I've driven by other high schools and stuff, and they're really not that crazy except football night. And we've already petitioned to have a no parking zone in front of our houses, so no one will be parking there. But I didn't really buy it for the front view anyways. We just own a bunch of land behind us. So I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. I'll go sit on my deck, which is what I bought this house for anyway. And then my beautiful tax dollars will be right in front of my house. So,
Exactly. Well, at least you know it's going to something good ish.
yeah, except that my taxes went up. So I'm like,
Ah, yeah, that'll do it.
yeah, I'm like, why? Who voted for this high school? I voted
It was
no.
not me.
But I'm like, why am I paying more for property tax now? Oh, right, there it is.
I gotta
Yeah,
do it.
it'll be interesting for sure. But and then the hardest part is if he's on the high school soccer team for
Oh,
the school
cute.
the other school, he's gonna have to transfer teams when the new school
Yeah.
opens. It's gonna be a hot mess, is all I'm gonna say. I'm
He'll
like
probably
already
enjoy it in
there.
the long run just because it's going to be closer to home. Or he'll hate it. It'll be one of the two. There won't be a happy medium. He'll either really like it or really hate it.
Well, first he was like, "I can come home for lunch." I'm like, "No, no, no. See, the whole point of you kids all going to school all day long is I get a break. So there will be no home lunch. Your butt will stay there." Like, I need my time, but we'll see. I'll probably cave because I'm like, teenage boys, they need like 5 lunches. They're like hobbits, they need like their
Yeah.
first breakfast, second breakfast. Because I
What about
swear he'll come
elevensies?
home.
Afternoon tea?
Exactly. He'll come home from school and make like a full out meal. And I'm like, didn't you eat lunch at school? He's like, yeah, twice. Because they go through the line multiple times. And I'm just like,
Oh,
oh my
really?
gosh. Yeah, they let him. I mean, they
Oh,
can go through as much as they want. They just have to pay for it. But
yeah.
I'm like, that could save me because he's like bottomless pit. And he's like still super skinny. I'm like, where does this go? And why can't
Right?
this be my problem?
Oh, absolutely. I know. I'm like, can't we just? I saw somebody that did a meme the other day about just basically like, can't we all just have like pet otters and cake doesn't,
Yeah.
gain weight or like anything like that'd be
I just
wonderful.
I look at a cookie and I gain 10 pounds. I'm like, well, there it is.
Seriously, like I've got some chocolate chips in my freezer, and I keep like looking at them, like I could make cookies, or
I could stay thin or make cookies.
yeah, life is short. I'm making the cookies.
I know.
I'll just go
Yes.
for a walk later. That'll work, right?
That's what I
Hi,
tell myself,
Michelle.
but then, no, hi, Michelle. Yes, after 40, teenagers are bottomless pits. Like, I am like baffled at the amount that they consume. And I'm like, so where is this sticking or not sticking? I mean,
Now
goodness
they have
gracious.
hollow legs. That's all it is. And it all just
Something.
sits there.
Well, and then he's running constantly in soccer, and now he's like become because he's a teenager, so he's working out in the
Yeah.
gym all the time too. So he's like, I need to eat like a full meal after my gym workout at 8 o'clock. And I'm like, but you just had dinner.
See, I've thought about the gym and I have some workout stuff here at the house, but it's like I'm sitting there thinking and I'm just like, well, I mean, I could do the gym or I could go
Yeah,
get another
or
cup of coffee and, have an extra waffle. I mean, it's a life choice.
I know. See, so I thought by putting, because I mean, I work from home and all that. And so I was like, okay, I hate working out in actual gyms. Like, I don't know. I just am very uncomfortable there. But I was like, okay, what if we turn one of our rooms into a gym? We need it for our son because he needs to work out.
Yeah.
And then my husband, of course, has to stay in shape. But I was like,
It's
it'll
okay. He can just
totally,
climb the fireman pole like up and down. Be
yeah,
like, just work. That's arm day. All right. Leg day is going
arm
is
day.
using the stairs.
Oh my gosh. They actually do a charity thing out here where they run this big building in downtown Salt Lake and they run the stairs for charity. And he just has a blast. And they wear their full gear, which is like over 100 pounds, their gear.
Oh my gosh,
And I'm
that's
like,
so
yeah,
much.
no, I wouldn't volunteer for that. But I thought by having a home gym, I would totally like get my butt in shape. And that treadmill that I bought myself for
Oh, I
Christmas,
know. I've got
let
a
me
bike
tell
that
you.
sits in the corner of my room mocking me. It's just like, oh, well, you said you were going to use me. I have a visitor, by the way. He's decided that now's a good time.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
I know. Well, I think my treadmill looks better with that layer of dust. It just adds nice color. That's all. I don't
Yeah,
want
right.
to
It's just,
disrupt it.
I'd rather the dust fall on that than my TV remote. So really, it's attracting the dust.
Yeah, it's
Oh, what are
saving
you
me
doing?
from stuff.
Exactly. But like it was, buddy, you're right on the picture. I can't do it if you're right on the picture.
Oh,
Paul
ran out of
Evelyn says
brownies.
hi. Hey, running out of brownies. That's a serious coffee.
Did you look?
Oh my gosh. Hang on one second. I gotta take out my headphones. Hang on. Make sure I didn't get it everywhere. I think I caught it and it was almost empty. Yeah, okay, we're good. Oh, you're making a mess. Oh, sure.
Evelyn,
Now you
treadmills
leave.
are great.
He's like,
places
I
for
only came
clothes.
in here to knock over the coffee. All right, I'm back.
Let's see. Feeling.
Oh, you're making a
There are some
mess.
pinks in this set. I'm trying not to blind myself in the process.
Right? I feel like I need to bring in more pink on this one just to balance it a little bit. It's all very yellow.
I think it's looking good though. Like I was like, I had a picture in my head. It's not looking like the picture in my head, but I'm like, well, it is what it is. But yeah, I had an idea in my head this morning. All week I was like, I'm gonna use neons somehow.
I'm going over that gel pen that I put on here because I want to make this a little bit pinker. I think I'll just need to re-put the gel pen on, that's all.
Hi, PGB. I will apologize if I clear my throat or have sniffles, but it's technically spring in Utah at the moment because we're behind. And I've got
Corey,
mad
I only
allergies.
have one thing to say. How dare you?
I know.
How dare you be human with a nose? I mean, honestly, what were you thinking?
uh, God forbid I have
I
to
mean, you should have
sniffle.
woken up this morning and be like, all right, today's not a nose day. I'm going to have to leave that behind, just attach, leave it on the nightstand, and just carry on, soldier.
Oh my gosh. I have to like put that disclaimer out there though. I've been getting like snarky comments and I'm like, dude, I
Really?
have allergies. Yeah. I've been getting, I think I don't know if it's the same person with different accounts because they leave the same message, but it's been like disheartening because I'm like, dude, a person like, as much as I would love to edit every sniffle out, I can't. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, like I try to when I'm uploading a video, like I try to edit out my ums, but at some point I'm just like, I can't keep
It's,
doing this. Like I'm it's
yeah.
the video is 10 minutes long and this is the 8th hour I've spent trying to eliminate the ums. At some point I just gotta let it go.
Well, and like it's hard like when you have allergies and you're taking
Mm-hmm.
medication, but like you can't control when the sniffles come on. And so I'll like be mid recording and I'll pause and then I'll be like, crap, what was I saying? As I come back and I'm just like, oh, for Pete's. But yeah, it's like I feel bad that I have the sniffles because I'm trying not to annoy anyone, but at the same time I'm
Eh.
like, I hope people can like just accept the fact that I'm not doing it to be annoying. It annoys me more than anything.
Okay, I
It's
think
just
I'm
me.
making this leaf worse. I need to just like step away from the leaf. Let the leaf
I'm trying
be.
to
If I had a darker green, it would work, but I gotta just moving
stick to the
on.
neons.
Yep, stick to the
Ugh,
neon.
I do not like that combo whatsoever.
Aw, Ev just did 5 memberships.
Ooh, how
Oh.
come it didn't pop up on my thing here? Darn you.
It could be delayed.
Oh,
I delayed. I only saw it on the chat on the normal
yeah,
stream.
that's
Let's see.
probably
We
delayed
have.
on the thing.
Let's see. I'm looking at.
Well, thanks for doing that, Evelyn. That's sweet of you.
I'm gonna throw up some pencil emotes, coffee. Ew, that dancing pencil. I'm gonna throw that up there too.
The dancing pencil.
Well, I think like I'm sitting kind of far away from the screen, so I can't see it up close. So I'm
I need to. Yeah, there's a dancing pencil, a waving paintbrush, and then oh my gosh, I used to have Scout on there. I need to redo Scout. I
Mm.
forgot my mascot. I made her too small. I got to make her bigger. Her
Yeah,
head,
it's
like
hard trying to change it. It's like because my instinct is I want to put a lot of detail, but it's you can't really do a ton of detail on there. So
right,
I want to get rid of one of them that's not used as much, and I want to add in a words on stream emote that everybody can throw up when we switch over to words on stream.
oh, that would be fun.
Let's just do like just like a W. So I'm like, well, that's literally just a W, like in a purple square. Like that's you can see that easy enough.
Right, I know because I made the Scout icon, and then when I went to use it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so tiny. So I have to go back and redo it, and that's the hard
What do
part. You
you
can't
use? What do you
edit.
use for your emotes?
I've just been designing them myself on Canva. So, or sometimes I'll
Mm.
draw them on Procreate.
Yeah,
Like my
Procreate is what
little,
I use.
yeah, like the dancing pencil dude and the watercolor brush. Those were Procreate. The coffee cup was Canva.
Mm.
The husky I used on Canva because I can't draw a husky to save my life. I have 4 of them. Can't draw them. And at this
That's
point, I
hilarious.
can't even keep up with their fur. Oh my gosh.
Let's
They're
see, which one was it that had the injury?
well, 2 of them were injured, but the one that was injured the longest was Harper, but she's out of
Yeah,
her cast, thank
that's
goodness. I don't need
good.
2 broken bones in this house at the same time.
Right.
But, no, she's actually running around acting like her
Oh,
leg was never
good.
shattered, so she's good, and then the other one, recovered really quick. She's fine, but because we've had such a crappy, like, weird winter/spring, slash spring, now they're
Yeah.
losing their coat, all 4 of them.
Mm. Oh, yeah. There was a
And
video that I saw of somebody and they had to messing with this leaf again. And it was like a bathing time and like a
Yeah.
blowout time for their huskies. And she like did it outside. She did it
Oh, yeah.
outside, like on this porch, and it's just like blowing everywhere. But she wore like a beekeeper's hat when she
Yep.
did it to keep all the fur out of her face. And I was just like, oh dang it. Because they have the undercoats. Like, I don't
Yep.
know. There's
You
like
gotta
I've
get
always
it out.
wondered how people can like own huskies in Texas because I'm like, it's so hot here. Like, how is this comfortable for them? And they say that, oh,
So,
well, they have their undercoat and it can shed. And like, there's all these different things that I had no idea because I've never had a husky, but I worked at,
yeah, they're
okay.
oh, I was gonna say their coat is really delicate. Like, you have to be careful when you pull it out, but, like, right now, I need to go blow mine out. I normally take them to the groomer, but it's hard finding a groomer that knows how to handle a husky coat because it's
Yeah.
a really delicate coat. Um, but yeah, like, it's a freaking nightmare, and I need to get mine blown out, but I stand out in our pasture when I do it
Yeah.
and just let the fur fly
I was gonna say, hey
wherever.
man, that's bird. This is perfect. That's like bird
Yeah,
nesting material. It's perfect for that.
that's
I
pretty
saw a
much
guy
what I
actually
assume.
who, like, I think he lived in the UK, and what he did is after they combed and blew out their dog, he would collect the fur and then he put it like in a box. Now, of course, being the internet, there was always the group of people like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," yada yada yada, just
Oh,
because like treating. I guess if the fur's treated in any way with like flea stuff, they're just like, "Oh yeah, you can't do that" or whatever else. But I was just like, "Oh, but that's kind of a neat idea. Like if you've got a pet with oodles amount of fur, like it makes sense."
so funny thing. Okay, so apparently there's this new trend about sewing pillows with Siberian husky fur.
Oh, how
And so
funny.
my husband was
Like
like, "We
as
need
the
to
stuffing
save."
on the inside?
No, the actual fur on the outside of the pillow. I'm like
Well,
sitting
I
there
suppose
gagging.
if you had a spinning wheel, you could like do they turn it into yarn?
I have no idea how they do it, but you can look on Etsy and like you'll see Siberian husky
Interesting.
fur
Well,
pillows.
Joanna, Color and Chat with Joanna, she's
Uh-huh.
got two big, I think they're Great Pyrenees, but basically two massively hairy white dogs, like they're
Yeah.
huge. And she actually did that where she got their fur. I don't know if she took it to someone or she did it herself. But anyway, long story short, she's got a blanket made out of the dog's fur. Obviously, it's washed and everything like that. But I've seen
Right.
a picture of it. It's really pretty. But I was just like, hot dang, man. Although we joke that we're like our other two cats, Paul and Annie, they're both, they got pretty not fine hair, but it's not like thick and fluffy. But our oldest cat, Isis, she is like, I would love to know genetically like what she's a part of, but she's super thick fur, super soft, like it's amazing. And so there are times when we brush her out, we've collected enough fur. I shaped it into another cat once, and I was like, look, we made another cat.
Oh my gosh, like if when we do the blowouts on our dogs, their fur isn't treated, so I'm fine letting it fly. But we've got like I could probably make several blankets, but my husband was like, "We should bag that and sell it to those people making those." And I'm like, "I'm not collecting their
Just do like
nasty fur."
an Etsy store for your dog's fur.
I'm like, I was
Genuine
just, ugh.
husky sheds.
I mean, it's clean. My dogs are very, very clean for what they
Well, I
do,
think
but
the
no.
people that probably process that, because I mean, you think about it, when you do wool and you turn it into yarn, like they wash it, they process it, they brush it out, they separate it. Like there's definitely a way to do that. So you could like put genuine unprocessed for if you feel like tackling it, you're more than welcome to it. $5 for every 5 pounds, $5 a pound. I don't know
Oh,
why I
I
went through
just
an accent with that, but rolling with it.
yeah, I just am like, I'm so grossed out by the fur. I'm
Oh
like,
no, we absolutely, yeah.
when they have like little pouches, like you can just see like, ready to pluck out, and like I'll grab it and pull like this
Right.
massive mound out. I'm like, ah, and I'm like running to the trash can, and they're my dogs and they're clean, but I'm still like, yeah, no. So when my husband's like, you should make a pillow, I'm like, no, I'm not making a freaking pillow out of this stuff.
There's a woman that I follow on Instagram. A lot of people probably have heard of her, but she's called Juniper Fox, and so she has these rescue foxes, basically foxes that were bred for the fur trade that she rescued,
Mm.
and they now live with her. But because they were bred for the fur trade, the way that those foxes are bred is that they grow more fur than a traditional like wild fox would
Huh.
have. So they shed a lot more when it's shedding season, like because the way that they're bred, it's like super luscious, super thick because they are bred for their fur. But consequently, they are incredibly fluffy and everything. And so she will post when it's shedding season. And it's interesting. They're orange. Well, almost all of them are orange foxes. But when they get those tufts of fur, it's almost like a gray undercoating. But so she'll post videos of her like trying to pluck these little, ready to go clumps of fur. And some of the foxes are like, yes, please, thank you.
Ah.
And then she's got others that are like, you touch me and I will literally remove your fingers.
I was gonna say, like, I would not want to be the person that ticks off a fox. Just saying.
Oh, there you go. You can also stuff dryer lint into empty toilet paper. It uses, yeah, fire starters. So, my mother-in-law, she goes camping a lot, and she's done that kind of thing before with the dryer lint. But you could also do it with fur, where you take like the paper egg cartons, right? Like the cardboard ones. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. Ours do a lot of styrofoam. I think there's some that still do the cardboard tubes. But anyway, so you take the cardboard tube, or sorry, the egg carton, and in the egg carton you put the lint or the fur or whatever else, and then you put a little bit of wax on top of it, and that kind of keeps everything like
In.
in, yeah. And then
Okay.
you use that as a fire starter.
Huh.
Yeah, because you can separate the little egg carton things, and so you cut out, like a little individual egg holder, and in it you've already got some wax that'll help keep the flame, and then the stuff that catches on fire, like the fur. And I was just like, oh, all right, that
I
works.
don't camp either, PJB. I hear ya, but
I haven't gone camping in a while, in quite a while. I don't know.
my
We camped more when we lived up in the Pacific Northwest, but like Texas, I'm like, I don't know, the bugs are too big here, and like there's ticks and like everything else. So I'm really hesitant to camp here, but I know my kids would love it. Like I need to take them camping. Not like they've been camping like at a lodge or cabins or whatever else, but I
right.
feel like they need the experience of waking up in a tent where, there's a little bit of condensation from the cold. Of course, I'm used to like camping in Oregon. So like you camp in Oregon, it's gonna be cold in the morning. Like there's gonna be condensation because like camping on the coast is a frequent thing over there. So, we go camping, wake up, condensation on the tent, everybody's freezing, but start a fire, eggs, sausage, coffee in the morning. Then later you walk down to the beach. Like it's weird. I know a lot of people probably don't camp on the coast, but in Oregon,
Right.
there's a lot of coast to go camping in.
Well, I'm from California, and that's what we did. I
Oh,
mean, we would
nice,
always go
PJ.
out to the
Yeah.
beach ones.
See, I love the Pacific Northwest. Like, I would love to move back there someday because we do still have family out there. But on the other hand, like where we would need to go for Steve's work, like it's just not worth it. So basically, what I've decided is that if we do wherever we end up going when he's done with his schooling, like I wouldn't mind if we were in within driving distance of the coast. But yeah, I miss it for sure.
Where in the Pacific Northwest were you? Just Oregon?
Everywhere. Yeah, Oregon, but I lived on the coast, I lived in the valley, I lived in the desert portion. That's the thing, is that a lot of people, if they've never been to Oregon or read anything about it, they just assume that Oregon is like one massive coastline, when in reality, Oregon literally has like all the climates. Like you've got the
Yeah.
coastline, obviously, where, summertime, 85 max, but it's always got like a nice cool breeze. And then you've got the valley where summertime can get up to maybe sometimes creeping up towards 100, but really like usually it's 95. And again, there's usually a breeze and like all of this. And then you actually go to the right half. There's actually probably more desert than there is valley and coast combined. You go to the right half, then you've got like Bend and all these other places that get snow, and
Right.
there's desert and it's hot. So it has like a wide variety, basically something for everyone there. But my favorite area is probably the coast. Like I will, if we ever move from here, I will miss the thunderstorms, but there is something about a rainstorm that just like it's very cozy.
I
I like it
miss
a lot.
I just miss California and the way the sun shines out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, even on, when it's shining out here in Utah, I always tell people, I'm like, no, it just shines differently. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
Oh, it
better.
absolutely does. And it has something to do with the amount of humidity and the, whether or not there's a cool breeze. Like there is not much humidity. In fact, when we, talk to somebody who's living over in Oregon still, 'cause like I said, we have family and everything. And they're like, oh yeah, it's so humid today. Like I am trying so hard not to laugh. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It's not humid. Like it's clearly not like, we're talking like 80% humidity here. Like there's literally just like moisture collecting in the air in front of your eyes. Like it's
I
no.
love
Now
moisture.
granted, I just seen water droplets like form in the air like the world's frozen. Now granted, I'm sure Florida and places that are
Oh
closer to the
yeah.
Gulf get even more humidity, but Texas compared to Oregon is like night and day. Like the humidity is it is something to behold for sure, especially like you can almost I never as a kid, there's a lot of things because you don't have life experience with a lot of things. Like I never understood how people knew how something was priced expensive and they say, "Oh, that's really expensive now." I always wonder, I'm like, how do they know that it was expensive? Like, how do you know? Anyway, obviously, as a kid, I have no frame of reference. Of course, now as an adult, I can be like, $8 for eggs? You kidding
Oh,
me? $9 for a peach. And then, I go away with my
nine.
cane and shake my fist at the young children and their rock and roll and 8-track tapes. But, as a kid, it's like that too. My dad could look at the sky and be like, oh, it's going to rain soon. And I'm like, how do you know it's going to rain soon? It might not. And I'm being all snarky and everything. And in reality, oh, the sky's just opened up. But, as a kid, I just never understood how people could look at the sky or see prices and whatever else. And so the sky is one of them. But like now here, of course, I can see like, oh, it's a little cloudy, but it's not just white separated clouds. It's, one big cloud and it's gray. And oh, the
Right.
humidity's at 60%. It's probably going to start raining.
See, we don't have humidity in Utah. It's
Well,
just
you're kind
straight
of
up
like closer
dry.
to, you're like really up high. You're closer to the sun. So, there's that.
It's awfully dry around here,
Oh,
but I
that
mean,
is one thing, like for living in Oregon versus here, my skin would get so dry. My skin just sinks in like here because it's just like the humidity. It's just
right.
not dry enough. Like my skin is fantastic here, but like I go to Oregon and I'm like, oh, right, that's why I wanted to move.
Yeah, out here, winter, spring, whatever season, you're like
92.
dealing with it. Who
Yeah,
has
Ev's
90?
got 92% humidity. That's crazy.
Ugh. With no
But
rain,
I
that's just
mean, is how is it so humid there, Ev? I'm trying like I'm not seeing a very good map of the US in my head. Like is it because like you're not near the Great Lakes? What is it about where you're at that makes it so humid? Right. Oh, 40. Absolutely. I absolutely can. Yes. You can smell the rain. Like it, like it's coming. And especially if it's a thunderstorm, you can almost feel like the charged nature like in the air. Like, oh, okay, well, that's coming.
I bet you guys get some really good thunderstorms out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Ours are kind of piddly.
No, we get some, and we get like lightning strikes that are super close. Like it's to the point where it's
Right.
like shaking the windows and shaking the whole house. Like, and we've seen that because of where the house is at now, because we used to live more in town, but we live kind of closer to more open land, so it's more common for lightning strikes to happen here. But like we will see them get like really close. The cats just all bolt and hide under all the furniture. Oh, Mississippi River. Okay. That'll
Oh
do
yeah,
it. Yep,
yeah.
that'll do it. But no, we get
Yeah.
some really good ones. And I love a good solid. Like I will enjoy the storm until of course we start getting, like tornado warnings or like whatever else. Like if the weatherman is zoomed in on your neighborhood, that's not good. That's not good. We've had some pretty close ones. Like we had a tornado that literally hopped over our house. And like when they were tracking the tornado, the weatherman like zoomed in on our house. And I looked at Steve, I'm like, that's where we live. That's not good. It
That's
was
so
definitely,
much.
and it ended up like jumping over a house, and it was so close that I could feel the pressure change like in my ears when it was that close. And I'm like, that was a tad close for comfort, but I don't know.
Oh, Holly, I am using so I'm using a paint set here from Designs by Rachel Beth, ton of spring hot pinks and stuff. And then I am actually using my Felissimo pencils. They have a whole set of neons that just hurt your eyeballs. So that's what I'm using today.
I'm using pretty much everything. I don't know if that, yeah, markers, pencils, gel pens. I do have this, but I don't think I'll end up using it because it's just not right. You can't just add water to pigment. That's what that test was.
Yeah, you just gotta mull that out. Mulling
Yeah,
is a
just a
great
little bit.
arm workout though.
I can imagine.
Tone
Well,
up
and
your
you just
arms
need like a yellow, not yellow. I'm saying yellow because I'm holding yellow. Glass. You just need like a
yeah,
glass plate to
to mull it on.
yeah, to mull it out and
You want one that's big enough though. So like
yeah.
especially well, depending on how much you're putting down. I mean,
Mm.
but you need some working space for sure.
I keep wanting to put this pink over this green, but it's just coming out brown, which makes sense because red and green come out brown. But I'm like, how can I do this and not make it look like baby vomit? I don't know. That's the ultimate goal. Don't make your drawing look like someone, had a bad lunch on it. Oh my gosh, that's the
God,
second time I talked about that on your stream. I'm so sorry. I
s-
have I'd say part of me says I have zero filter, but I mean that's not entirely true. I do have somewhat of a filter only because, as a streamer you need a filter, but other
yeah.
times there are things I just don't have a filter for, but that's me. I'm
Well,
only
I'm
mildly extroverted. And by mildly I mean I make friends with everyone.
I think I think most of us here, or you know, most of
Yeah.
us can relate to the whole baby vomit anyways. You're fine.
Seriously. Ah, the joys of children.
I know. All those things. You know what?
Sleep.
I swear though, like they need to make a full like real deal parents guide where
Oh,
it says like,
absolutely.
okay, by the way, the baby phase, it's all right. Once you get
Yeah, it's
past that, then
cute.
you're in the
Yeah.
toddler
Or but
phase.
like, I mean, because I don't know about you, but like as a new parent, the biggest thing I struggled with was when is it at the point that I actually need to take them to the doctor? Like at
Yeah.
what point do I actually need to be concerned? It's okay. So they've had 104-degree fever for the last hour. Yeah, should probably take them to the doctor, but if it's only 101 and they're keeping down fluids, then that's, self-manage at home kind of thing. But I don't know about you, but like how many times have you questioned, do they have an ear infection? Do they have this? Do they whatever? My sister has about a bajillion kids, and she finally gave me some advice that was really that's a story for another time. But one of the things that she got because she had so many kids is an otoscope to keep at home.
Oh, cool.
Um, so, well, that way, because it's not that I'm a doctor and I can diagnose ear infections.
Right.
What it does is, can you recognize the potential symptoms for an ear infection? If you look in your kid's ear and it's normal, there's no, buildup behind the eardrum, odds are they don't have, an ear infection and you don't necessarily need to bother the doctor about it. Now, if you look in
And
there and it's like bright red and angry, then maybe you should take them to the doctor for it. But that was probably the one that I always questioned the most, like, okay, well, if it's an ear infection then we need to bring them in. But yeah, that one
well,
saved
the
me.
the hardest one for us has always been strep throat because my kids have never
Mm.
presented with the typical. So like they
Oh
always start out
yeah.
with headaches and stomach aches, and they usually just get
Mm.
very nauseous, and they don't have fevers right away. Like my youngest had strep earlier this week, and I was like, I thought it was allergies because, like I said, we're all suffering
Yes,
allergies
yeah,
right
same with
now.
my kiddos, yeah. And sometimes
Yeah,
allergies can even bring on like even like ear infections or whatever else, which strep presents with a fever, ear infections present with a fever, but if they have enough going on with the allergies, it's like, "Oh, okay, well."
Evelyn says Corey's going. I'm not inviting Emily back. She only talks about vomit.
It's very possible. It's very possible. So if you lose a few subscribers, my bad, my bad. I won't be here all the time, guys. I just my filter doesn't always work. We could talk about donuts. I do like a good donut. Like, you know, they're
Oh,
delicious.
I've had to cut off my donuts though, because like I said, they just that 10 pounds goes right to my bum.
You know what? When the day comes, are we going to wish that we had a smaller bum or that we ate the donut? I don't know about you, but I'm going to wish I would have eaten the donut.
That's kind of how I look at it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna enjoy this lovely little donut
Yeah,
and
exactly.
whatever.
It brings me,
Because
I like Marie Kondo. If it brings you joy, embrace it. If it does not bring you joy, then chuck it.
I know life's too short, right? Eat the darn donut.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. Just eating the donut.
I have a friend on a very strict diet. Like she won't eat anything, and I'm like, but how can you live that way? Like, don't you want to? I don't
Right?
know, live.
I mean, I
Like
suppose like if you have diet, like I can't, do gluten or whatever, but
that,
so
yeah.
there's the okay, well, if I eat this, I'm not going to be able to function the next day. But then there's also the, well, do I have the ice cream or not have the you have the ice cream. Do we have the second cup of coffee? Absolutely.
Oh well, that's a no-brainer. Even though my stomach will hate me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't
Right?
care.
Coffee
I've
is
got a pill for that.
right, exactly. Well, one of the kids asked me the other day, they're just like, why do you have so much coffee? I'm like, because it's delicious. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't start drinking coffee until you were born.
Oh,
No
I've
joke.
told
I
my
didn't start drinking coffee till I had my second kid, and I realized, like, oh, that's what all the hype was about. That's why we need it.
Oh no, I was on it way before then, but like one time my son when he was younger asked why I drank so much and I was like for your safety because yeah, I need
Exactly,
this.
Momo. Just eat the donut. Just enjoy it.
Yep, got to enjoy life. That's the thing.
Mhm.
So I was debating about a second pot of coffee. See, now I can't like I have a stomach condition that flares up. So like second cup, yes, but if I go for like too much more than that,
Yeah.
then I will be
Yeah,
like
set two
in
cups.
mad
2 cups
pain.
is definitely my limit for sure. Like, and as it is, like I drink like half calf coffee, so really it's kind of like I do, 1 cup, but it's just spread out over the course
Trying
of the
to
day.
the focus on my thing's been a little wonky, so I was gonna see if I could get it to
Mm.
quit being wonky. Oh, well, we don't want it that blurry, do we?
Yeah,
Woo!
there's
There we
times I
go.
forget to turn it off autofocus, and all of a sudden the camera will focus on my hand. I'll be like, oh, well, okay, glad I did a manicure. I meant to do, like, I was thinking I wanted to do like neon nails for this, but I was like going to bed last night. I'm like, oh, well, all
There we
right.
go.
Guess that ship has sailed. My bad.
Oh my gosh, I had to miss my nail appointment because we had to go to the orthopedic surgeon. So I'm like,
Mm.
my nails are super overgrown, and I'm like, ah. So we're just gonna not focus on those.
I don't always have like a length for my nails. It's kind of like, okay, well, I've had X number of nails that have broken. I probably should shorten them back a little bit. They're probably a smidge too long. I gotta be honest, I'm not hating this. I'm not hating the way it's turning out. Like I'm getting enough variation in what I'm doing that I think it's kind of working.
Let's see.
Oh
Remember,
my
they don't
gosh, I
have
forgot.
alcohol in jail, and coffee is not available at any time you
That is
want.
true. That
That's
is
why you
true.
should drink your coffee.
I forgot Paul was in the office and he just got up and walked across the room and it about scared me half to death. I just saw something massive move in the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Is it the world's most giant rodent or is it the cat? No, it's the cat. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Building a
Luckily, it
house,
was
that
the
would be terrible.
cat.
Yes, luckily I would have just flown across the room. First of all, I'd wonder how the heck it got in here without being noticed. And then second of all, I'd be like, what kind of mutation is this?
Well, I mean, it is a rodent, so I mean, if it
True.
was, they can get in pretty easily.
Oh gosh.
Kind of.
Thankfully, we have never had one here. Knock on wood. Hang on, I'm gonna let Paul out 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, come on. Come on.
Oh, I think a lot of us were that way, hecty hobbyists.
Come on.
We embraced more coffee as we had more children, or at least I definitely did.
Oh, have fun.
Let's see. I am trying to pick some colors. Combining colors for neons, man. That's a epic battle.
Wait, I missed it. What's an epic battle?
Picking colors with neons that I want to combine together.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I've basically got 4 colors that I'm working with here. How are we doing on time anyway? I'm trying to decide if I should fit in a background before we're done today.
I've been kind of like slowly doing my background, and then after I get to that point, then I like color the flowers
Yeah.
so that I sort
Yeah, so
of
I think I'll
have
do this
something.
leaf and this butterfly and this vine, and then I'll do some of the pastels. Because I got out these neon pastels, so I might as well use them. Oh,
Let's
we've
see
been
what
going for an
colors
hour and a
this.
half already. I didn't even
I
realize it was that
know.
late. Time flies when you're having fun, man.
It goes fast. Wait, where is my? Some of these are like, oh, like I said, they're killing my eyeballs. All right, I think I'm trying to find my other yellow. It's called. This is some of these names from Felissimo crack me up. So this
What are
one's
they?
called Lime Yours. You know, as in I'm yours, but Lime Yours.
Like a Valentine's Day edition of pencils.
Yeah, it's super cute though. I'm like, oh, maybe I should
Yeah,
add
I
some
did
orange.
pink, but let's grab the pink one. I was doing green on top of that leaf, but you just can't see it. So I'm opting for doing like a stippling thing to kind of show shadow since I don't really have darker colors, and I think it's working.
Oh, let's
Ish.
see.
It's not working, so that's something at least.
Oh no, I think the gel pens are working fine.
Yeah,
I'm just
always nice to
debating.
mix it up a little bit.
I think I will add blue to this. Sure, why not? Whatever. I mean, these are neons. I mean,
It works.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going
Hindsight, I
for.
suppose there is kind of a neon blue with Prismacolor. It's like electric blue. Although the electric blue has always been like kind of scratchy.
Really? For you? Mine's always
Yeah,
been pretty smooth.
no, it's the one color that I have of the it's kind of like what is it? Like that earth color from Caran Dash, Castle Earth. Castle Earth from the Caran Dash ones is always kind of scratchy.
Yeah.
But my electric blue is always kind of weird. Now, granted, I haven't repurchased an electric blue in years, so maybe they like since fixed it.
Oh. And I mean, it's not a color I go through as quickly as some others, but I know I've replaced it a few times, but I've never had issues with it being scratchy.
I haven't really
But
used this pink yet. Oh, a black
some
background, Ev? I don't know.
ooh,
Hi, Kara. How are you? Right, Ronnie? It's so bright.
I know. That's why I was like looking at my pencils and I'm like, I should have wore sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the morning sun like coming up over here and just making these pencils
Making it
glow.
glow, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So after this, I'll probably be like, all right, I'm gonna need some Tylenol
Mm-hmm.
for that headache that's gonna come on because I was staring at neons.
I'm
I
trying to
think
figure out how to
it's not too bad.
balance these. I think we'll do that, and then I'm going to do some orange. Orange might be better on this. Oh, wait, do I not have? Oh, no, I got this orange. Sorry, I'm also talking to myself.
I haven't even broken out my gel pens because I'm like, I'm just gonna pencil it.
Pretty much using a little bit of everything here. Pencils, markers, whatever works.
I have a few Tombos and stuff that were pretty like I could pass as neons because they're pretty
Yeah.
bright. But I was like, I think since I normally don't do neons, I'm like, I'm gonna stick with just a couple things because otherwise I'll be sitting here like, what do I want to do here?
Yeah, it's definitely like you got to treat it like a limited color palette just because it's so different. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when you're coloring with pastels, right? The blending rules don't really apply. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to just be like, that's gonna work. But
Yeah,
then
however
also
it can
remember,
balance.
well, and then you have to like remember what will like if you blend over create the color of mud. So you're like, I gotta
Yeah,
be careful
exactly.
here.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Kara.
Oh, the Arteza ones.
Yeah, I put out the watercolor brush one this morning. I finished it last night and I was just like, oh, because I'd been going back and forth on it quite a bit, but I finally got it all out, which I was excited for because now that means I can usually like save any product that I'm checking out to make sure that I have the video completely done before I just use them
Yeah,
more
I tried those.
consistently. But
I tried them and I was actually really impressed.
right?
I thought they were going to be really crappy. And no
Yeah,
offense to
because like
Arteza, it
the
was supposed.
price for 12, like
Yeah,
I think it comes out to be like, what is it? I did the math because with the coupon, I want to say it brings it down to less than $2 a might have been just over $2 a brush. But yeah, so for that price, like I imagined, because sometimes I'll get like the generic brand brushes like at Hobby
Mhm.
Lobby, and usually like the ferrule will come loose, or I'll have a bristle like come off during the painting, and that's like my biggest annoyance when it comes to paint brushes is like loose bristles or whatever else. Then you have to pick them out of your painting, and it's just like, oh.
Right, right.
But it did
Yeah, no,
surprisingly well.
I remember I tried them a few months ago. It was a bigger set they had at the time, but it was on sale.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Holy crap, there's a ton of brushes in here." Like, and a lot of them I'll never use because I usually stick to
Yeah,
the
like these
rounds and
really these
stuff.
really big ones, especially for like adult coloring, like there's
Yeah.
just so much detail. But I was just like shocked at how much water they actually held.
Yeah, they held
Thanks,
a lot of
Pam.
water and the bristles were nice, but then also
Hmm.
I noticed like they held their shape really well, so I was pretty
Yes,
impressed.
exactly.
But I was like, "Huh, Arteza, nice."
Trying.
The only thing is like I already
I
have like
just let him
silver
out, and
black
then
velvet.
yeah,
So
Steve was letting them
like
fall back in.
I have my silver black velvet ones, so like when I go to try other ones, I'm like, "Well, you're great, but
Yeah,
I got my precious."
I keep doing my page like I've got like they can see my entire camera, and then I remember, oh right, we're a square in the middle. I gotta bring it in a little bit.
I know that's the thing when you have the shared screen, like
Hmm.
technically you are showing more, but not when we're split.
Yeah,
So you're like, "Oh,
exactly.
smoosh,
Yeah,
smoosh
we need
away
like an
in."
extra widescreen version when we
I
stream with
know.
other people.
And the more people you add, then you just get like your box gets smaller and you're like, "Well,
And then
crap, now I
eventually
have
though,
to
there's
add
like a
this."
sweet spot though when you have like four people on stream where you've got, more room on the top and the bottom.
I did notice that. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of funny how they do that. I wish like there was a way to kind of adjust it, but I don't they don't have one. So
Well, see, I don't use the StreamYard when I do like, not that I have too many people. I mean, usually it's only like one other person on stream or whatever else, but I will just like manually create it in OBS. But it doesn't always
ah,
work because you go through Zoom and you just need to make sure that everything's exactly the same every time you do it. And so it's like,
right, right. That makes sense. I'm going to zoom myself
I don't know. I
out
don't
so
think I've
I
had anybody on the stream since probably Belinda. I need to do that again at some point.
I know it's
And then
hard.
we'll
Like, well, you plan things, but then life happens, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh crap, can we
Like,
postpone?
oh, absolutely. I know. I'm hoping that when it gets closer, I can do another one where I chat with Johanna a little bit. But it almost seems better when I pre-record it ahead of time because despite the fact that I stream, a couple times a week and I'm used to it, whenever I have somebody on stream live, I'm always like worried that something's going to go wrong or like something's not going to connect or what. And I end up like way more flustered than I should be. And I'm
Right,
like, okay.
right. Now that makes sense. It's
All right.
crazy. I haven't colored in this book in a while, actually.
Oh, I know it. Magical Jungle was the first time that I ever got a like a book directly from her, and because I wanted like so much to have her like include me in that again for the next time when I got it, like I colored 10 pages like in a month. Like
Oh
I
my
was just
gosh.
oh, it was insane. It was completely insane. I was super impressed with myself when I got it done, but there were so many pages and I was just, I was just like, well, I want to be able to do it again. So, I want to make her proud. And then I was just like coloring I was exhausted after that month was done. I was just like, well, we're never doing that again. Maybe we'll slow it down, do just a couple bit. But I also wasn't doing any live streams then either. And so it was just like nothing but coloring. Although I didn't really even have an office then either. So I just had my desk in the living room and I had toddlers and I was just like, well, this is challenging.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was so happy when we finally moved my art studio upstairs because when we first moved in here, it was my
Everybody has
office
to stay
downstairs.
quiet and yeah.
Well, I had no doors. Like I don't have doors to that office and
Oh,
it's
how
right
funny. Was it
there
just
on the
like an
first
open doorway
floor.
kind of thing?
Yeah, it's because in Utah they usually have like this first living room you enter.
A
It's
sitting
like
room.
their sitting room type
Yeah.
thing. But I made it my office. And I wanted to install doors, but it's got some freaky tall like opening that we would have to like custom make. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going
Oh
that far.
gosh. Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
just gonna take
"What?"
over a bedroom.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Well,
not
yeah, that's
custom
kind of
making
what we have
doors.
here because this place that we're at, it has 4 bedrooms, and so of course Steve and I are in the master bedroom, and then we've got this extra room here, and so it's just like, well, and we share the office space too. Although I don't know how much sharing is it considered when my stuff literally covers his stuff all the time. Is it considered sharing at that point? I don't even know.
So, fun fact, like the room I'm in now used to be my husband's little man cave. And I was like, listen, I need an art room, but I need yours because it has the good morning natural light. So I was like, we're gonna finish the basement and you can go down there.
So did
So
you guys end I know like when we had talked about it at one point, you were talking about finish. Did you guys end up getting it finished or is it
oh
still
yeah,
work in
it's
progress or
everything's done in our basement except the
nice?
bathroom. But we're like,
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
know
need
my
that.
son.
No.
Well, my son wants to move down to the basement, and get away from sharing the bathroom upstairs with his sisters, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's fair. But what about the
So,
man cave?
yeah, well, we have 2 bedrooms in the basement, so he'll just take that over,
Okay,
and
okay, that's
then
fair.
the guest room will move up here or something. I don't know. It's a it's kind of a juggling act. At the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I want you in the basement by yourself yet. I don't know if the trust is there.
I don't know yet.
I'm like, I gotta get some things installed, like window sensors. Just kidding.
Oh, I didn't
My
even
kid's
think about
good,
that.
but you never know with teenagers,
No,
like
that's fair. That's fair.
they're good and my kid's really good, but I'm like, your friends
The
could totally
temptation will be, yeah, it's like you trust
yeah.
your kid, but do you trust your kid's friends?
And
Not
that's a big
entirely
fat no.
sure. Yeah.
Even the ones I've known since like they were all in kindergarten, I'm like, yeah, I still don't trust you.
I'm not really super looking forward to the teenage years, but I know they're inevitable. It's not like they're not gonna come.
Yeah,
So
you can't avoid it. It just pops up. So
yeah.
like
Try to avoid it.
my son's getting his permit this year and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh.
But I'm like adamant. I'm like, "No, I need to teach you to drive because I'm a California driver and I don't want you to drive. No offense to anyone from Utah, but I don't want you to drive like a Utah driver." And he's like, "No, mom, you're too fast." And I'm like, "That's it. Yeah. We
You're
have a
like, that's the
method.
point.
We have a method to our madness from California, and you must embrace it. Because if you drive like out here, oh my gosh, I'll never get in the car with you." But
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
it's funny because we've been in a big argument the last few weeks about who's going to teach him, and I'm like, me. Like this is not an option.
I learned how to drive on a stick shift, which is great because we actually have a stick now and I like it, but it definitely was a bit of a learning curve. I remember I was in the vehicle. I had a truck. A truck was my first vehicle, a little 2-door truck, but it was a stick shift. And we lived in a pretty small town. So it wasn't super, it wasn't like I was in Oklahoma City or something and it was huge and stressful to drive in. But I just remember I was pulling the truck out in like one of the main streets. It wasn't super busy, but it was a main street. And I didn't do the clutch and the gas, at the right ratios that you're supposed to. Anyway, it died.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
killed the engine, and my nose is like sticking out in Main Street. And I just remember I was in there by myself. I'm like 18 years old or whatever because I got my license late. But I was literally just sitting there going, "I'm gonna die." Because I was
Oh
just
my
like screwing
god.
myself. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm not gonna die. I need to collect myself. I need to take a deep breath and we're going to put it in reverse and we're going to try this. But I was just like panicking. Never mind that like people aren't going super fast on the road. So if they had seen me with my nose out, we probably would have gone around. But my underdeveloped, not quite adult sized brain yet was like panicking and it was just like, never again. And then I figured it out.
Well, like the craziest thing is like it's hard to even find cars with stick shift, but I learned on a
Yes.
stick shift as
Yeah, I
well.
was having a conversation with some parents yesterday actually, and they were talking about how it's hard to find car. In fact, when we got our car, it was a used car, but we specifically requested to the person that was selling. I'm like, hey, do you have? I don't know. I like the feeling of contributing to the effort of driving, and I don't know. It's just like second nature now. So we'll probably teach whenever the kids get to that age. we'll probably teach him how to drive on a stick, just because it's also really good to know. I mean, suppose you're in an emergency and the only vehicle around is a stick shift. The funny thing is they're really common, like in other countries in Europe and like everywhere
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
But
It's just the
here, for some
US.
reason, yeah.
One, I'm laughing because Ronnie blew
Yeah, it's
stick
in our
shift in
Cali traffic.
California
Yeah.
traffic. Yeah, okay. I give you that because when I used to drive my car and it was stick shift and I would go all the way down to LA, I was just like, oh, for Pete's sake. And I had an
All that
old
starting and
Honda.
stopping.
Well, and I had this old Honda that had, like, you gotta love your first car, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, at least maybe for our generation, kids these days, who knows? But
Yeah.
you get those old cars with like quirks, and so
Mm-hmm.
mine had like a quirky clutch. You couldn't push the clutch in all the way, or it would stall out. So like it had
I
this
mean, did
sweet
we
spot.
really have a starter car if it wasn't like a
Yeah.
bit puttery? Like, a starter car is meant to just be kind of, funky.
It was meant to, yeah. I mean, this thing it was fun though, but I remember being stuck in traffic and like one time got angry and pushed the clutch in too far and I'm like, ah crap, and I stalled right out. And I was like, someone's gonna run me over. But
Right.
I kind of miss like that old like piece of crap car. I mean, it was rusting. I had like seat covers and
Oh gosh.
everything. Probably like it was probably held together with some super glue, I'm positive. But I mean,
I
it
had
was
one of
like
those. Like
the
my first was a
best.
truck, and that one actually did pretty good. I did get into an accident with it at one point, and like the hood had to be like bungeed shut because that was classy. And then I had like this old like Nissan T-top car, which I thought was the coolest. I think I paid like $2,000 for it. It did not last very long, and I was too broke to even bother like going to fix it. So like I literally drove that car until there was no more car. Like I think I just like gave it to a junkyard by the end of it. Like I didn't even bother trying to sell. I'm like, if you could just take this off my hands, that would be great. Like, can I just not have this vehicle anymore? And like, yeah.
This car's not working out.
Yeah. Can we just pass? And yeah, there were a lot of questionable vehicles in the past.
I know. I mean, like I kind of miss it though. Like, I mean, my Honda, that's what it was. That was a stick shift.
Yeah.
I ended up having to. It caught fire because it
Oh no.
overheated and caught fire, and I'm like, well, I guess we're done.
Oh
But
my god, Wesley, yeah, it sits up, literally went up in smoke. Wait, it caught
yeah.
fire. Okay, that's clearly a story you need to tell your What happened?
Honestly, it was just so there's this grade that you have to go up and down to get out of my hometown, basically to get
Okay.
anywhere. And it's pretty steep. And so it was going up the hill and it had always like struggled on this hill. And this hill's known for like taking out brake pads on the way down and stuff. But I was going up and then all of a sudden I like, my temperature gauge was going up and that was
Oh
normal because it was an
no.
old car. But then it kept going up and I was like, what? And then I started to see it smoking and I'm like, oh, great.
Oh
Like I shot it.
gosh.
So I didn't I pulled over and then I went to
Only a minor
pop the
fire.
hood. Yeah, and I popped the hood and like looked down at the smoke and I noticed it was actual flames and I'm like, and I don't carry an extinguisher on my cheap old Honda because who would do that?
Well, I mean, I don't
But
even carry a fire extinguisher in my current car. You don't really think you're gonna need a fire.
no,
Like you don't walk out of the house today. I'm like, I'm gonna grab this fire extinguisher in case my car implodes.
my car ignites tonight. Well, and that's my thing. And so like I was sitting there waiting for the tow truck driver, and then like the cops show up and like they had to put it out with an extinguisher. I mean, it
Oh
was
my
kind of a funny
gosh.
story, but like I was just laughing because I'm like, well, and I mean, like I was semi bummed because I missed that car because it was just like my
Yeah.
first little beater car that was just fun to drive.
Well,
And
that's
like,
what happens when you set your first car on fire.
yeah, it went away. But I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
I was sitting there like, dang it, they can't fix it. And then I had to like have my first experience getting an actual car with a car payment. And I was like, oh, this
Oh
sucks.
gosh. See, we're
Okay, is
holding
this
on
the
to ours
thing?
for like as long as possible because our car is currently paid off. Like we could probably use a new
Yeah,
car, but it's paid off. So I'm just like, I can't justify a $200 or $300 car payment when we're not having to pay anything on our car. I mean, we could definitely use something more reliable, but that's down the road. And like I said, this one's paid off right now, so I'm not feeling the strong
that's
urge to As long as it's still going, I suppose we'll just keep it going for as long as we can.
It's kind of like with my husband's car. He uses it just to commute, but I had to drive it this week because mine
Mhm.
was in the shop because the air conditioner decided to not work and
Oh, that's just the worst.
the radiator went out, and I'm like,
Oh
well,
no.
but it was under warranty, so it was at the dealer getting fixed, but I had to drive his car, and this thing like clanks, and I swear it sounds like it's falling apart as you're driving it, and it's paid
Right? You're
off, and
like, please God, no speed
yeah.
bumps.
We were just like, we're not replacing it because it's paid off, and I'm like, we're trying to just save it and give it to my son as a first car, and that way, if like he dings it or something, we're like, well, meh,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's not a big deal.
But
Yeah.
I swear, driving that thing, it makes this like loud clicking noise when you turn on the air
So
conditioner, and I'm
there is
like,
a slight concern when it
yeah.
might potentially implode.
But I'm like, what is that noise? It was just like, oh my
Well,
gosh.
that Nissan little T-top I had, it was definitely like when it got to the end of its time with me, like when it came to like hills, I was seriously like 10 miles an hour up a hill. It just, I don't like looking back, if I had taken it to a mechanic, they probably would have been appalled that I was still driving it. But like it's literally like I would dread going uphill. But as soon as we were going downhill, like, and it was rough because I was living with my parents at the time and they lived, you had to go up and where we lived, you had to go up and down hills and everything. So I was just like, it's like that scene in Star Wars with Han Solo and his Millennium Falcon, and he's just and Luke is like, oh, this thing's a piece of junk, and then Han's like, it'll hold together, and then silently he's like, baby, hold together. I'm like, that's what I feel like I'm talking to that car. So I was like, please just make it up the hill. I promise you, we can go super fast if you just go down the hill, and we'll be good.
It's like when I had a Jetta when I first moved to Utah, and it was just front wheel drive. And where I lived in Salt Lake at the time, it was a very hilly area, and in
Yeah.
the snow, I was like, "Oh," like, I didn't wanna ever come to a stop going uphill because I was like, "I'm gonna slide right back down this thing. I'm not coming out of this alive." But yeah, every time we would like I'd see vehicles stopping ahead, I would just start having like a full out panic attack. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Right.
I'm not gonna make it. This is the day I'm gonna slide back into
This
traffic.
is the day. Well, see, we also, because we drive a stick right now, if I'm parked on a hill, when you're on a hill, you really need to get
Yep.
that ratio of clutch in, give it gas kind of thing. And so it always makes me nervous if like we're at a stoplight and we're on a really steep hill. There's this place in town, it's like a donut place or whatever, but where they have their drive through, it's an incredibly steep hill. Like it's a hill that's steep enough to hold one car and that's it. But it's really steep. It's not just like a little bump in it. And so I remember when little Emily was much younger, and little Steve wasn't around yet. And so she was, in the car seat in the back. And I went to, it was actually free donut day. And I was just thinking the free donuts weren't worth it. But like I couldn't get the ratio right to go up this hill. Thankfully, like I was hitting the brake quickly so that I didn't run into the car behind me. But thankfully the
Yeah.
car behind me noticed and like backed up a little bit. But I was like, this is the stupidest hill ever. Who puts a hill in a drive-through? Just flatten the dang road.
See, that's the worst about the stick shift because you always roll backwards no matter what,
Just
like
a
even on a
tiny bit.
slight
Yeah.
incline. And so you're like,
Yeah, so
I
now
mean,
I'm all
there's
like paranoid and I'm like revving the engine at the stoplight. It sounds like I'm getting ready to race somebody. We're in reality, I just don't want to roll back into the vehicle behind me. Like, is it too much to ask?
you should put like a sign on the back that says, by the way, I roll backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like instead of like the student driver sign, just I
Yeah.
roll backwards. Please give me at least 10 feet.
This
Put an
vehicle
entire
has a
another
high
car length
potential.
behind me.
Oh my gosh. I was
If you
laughing because
tailgate, you will get damaged.
so like my mom got this new car. She got a new Subaru that does the whole, you can set the car length you want and so it'll
Mhm.
auto brake. And on mine, I have it like literally as close as the system will let me go because I'm from California, okay? This whole
Yeah.
3 car gap is overrated. But my mom is sitting there trying to set hers and she's like, I need to set it for, at least 3 cars. And I'm like, Mother, why? Like we're from California. But she went to watch this YouTube video on how to set it, and the guy was from California, which made it even better. And he's like, "So, you normally you'll wanna set it for the 3 car." He's like, "But I'm in California. If you do that, you're not gonna survive on the 405." And I was laughing so hard. But, my car, yeah, every time I, like, turn it on, I have to because it keeps defaulting back to 3, and I'm like, "No, no, what is this 3? We only need 2, we're
You're like, we
fine.
need at least two. Yeah.
You break yourself, it's fine." But, yeah, like, that's one of
See,
the
I
reasons
don't
for my
think I could
son.
live like I don't know, like maybe it's just because I just have Steve drive most everywhere already, but like I do not like driving at night. I do not like driving
Yeah.
like long distances. Like it's super stressful and it's just like, no, can you just do the driving, please? Okay, I put the pastel like directly on the page because I was tired of picking it up. And this works
Yeah.
fine.
I know. See, I made like I was joking with my son and his friend about California driving rules, and he took it too literally. So that's one of the reasons he's like, "No, mom can't teach me." But I was like, all I told him was the usual California jokes. But I guess since he's from Utah, I should have taken that into consideration. But
Yeah.
I was like, so listen, in California, the speed limit is a suggestion, and you can go to what you feel is necessary.
Oh gosh, when
And
we
then
switch from driving in Texas to driving in Oregon, it is painful because like on the highway, like it's 75, but let's be honest, most people drive 80. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't drive 80 in Texas, you're not actually going to get to the other side of the state because it's so huge.
yeah.
And so like we get to Oregon where the speed limit's like 55, and you're just like, oh boy, we are never gonna get there. Like
I
ever.
know. Well,
It's
like out
painful.
here, most of our freeways have been bumped up to 75, which is hilarious because I'm like, no one's doing it. I'm like, hey, it
Yeah.
says 75. Could we at least do that? Like, that's all I'm asking. Like, at least hit that mark. If we can't, okay, I'm just gonna pass you. But yeah, my son's like, you're not gonna teach me to drive because I told him about the California stop,
Yeah.
STOP, and then you roll through. I don't actually do that. Not here in Utah, at least, but but where it's not acceptable. But
No, I
he's like
probably wouldn't have. Yeah, absolutely, I wouldn't.
an auditor. Oh, but yeah, it'll be an interesting he gets his permit right when it starts to snow again. So I was like, ugh.
But that'll be good though. If he learns how to drive in the snow, then he'll be able to handle it. Do you guys do chains up there or anything?
No, usually you can get away with four-wheel drive and be just
Mm.
fine. The only time you have to put on chains is if you go up in the mountains. But
I'm
most
probably
people
thinking
driving out
chains because
here.
when you live in like, Pacific Northwest or Oregon, like we don't get too much snow. Like if we do, it's usually
Right.
like 3 days of snow or whatever. Although this last winter, I think it snowed a little bit more. But usually where we were at, once it starts to snow, people are like putting on chains and everything. And I was just like, huh. Are you kidding me? If it snowed, like when it snows in Texas, like the state practically shuts down. Everyone's panicking. No one knows what to do. Like there's these like hilarious. Oh, it is absolutely crawling at 55, Ronnie. There is this like running joke with Texans where it's just like, tornado, fine, hurricane, fine, flooding, it's just normal. Yeah, grab your boat, like everything, all these natural
Flooding.
disasters, it's fine, everything's fine. And then it's like snows, and everybody's like, dear God, we're all apocalyptic, and we're all like panicking because Texas has a hard
It's
time with snow.
over.
It's
Yeah,
over. Batten the
that's how
hatches.
it. Yeah, out here, like, I mean, we're so used to snow. I mean, you can
Oh
get away
yeah.
with front wheel drive most of the time because they plow and stuff. But
Yeah.
like most people have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive out here, and
Yeah, we were
I
visiting
think,
family in Idaho where they get
oh
a lot
yeah,
of snow up there. And I remember being like so surprised because their house that they had, the front door, the main level was on the second floor. And that's because their
yep,
their basement that was below was all cement because they're used to like 10 feet of snow. Like, oh, by the way, this becomes ground level during the wintertime. And I'm like, that's completely insane. I'm like, no, it's normal.
yeah, that's how they build the houses out here. It's kind of weird and wacky when you first walk through them because you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
But
you're like, this is odd.
you get used to it, and then you're like, okay. I mean, I grew up in a place that basements weren't even a thing. So when I moved here,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what's this basement thing? Like,
Right? And I think they
I
have
was,
them more here because, well, not so much here, but basically once you start going up Tornado Alley a bit, there's a lot more like basements because they,
oh,
need places to get away from the NATOs and whatnot. But I don't know. We do have an attic here, but it's not anything that we store anything in. It's just mostly where all of like the HVAC stuff is at. And
yeah,
so
same
we do
here.
have that, but it's not anything significant.
You can't, like, our attic is mainly for like our furnace and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that's us too. Like, there's enough insulation up there. Like, I wouldn't want to store anything up there as it is. I mean, maybe if I was desperate to store something, but if I've got that much stuff that I have to store it next to all that, I probably need to be reevaluating all the stuff that I have.
well, ours is like, we have like spray foam up there. So, like, that's just a hot
Yeah.
mess to walk through. So I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, and we're gonna pass on that.
But like, we have a big basement storage out here.
That's fair.
And then Utah does cold storage, so everyone has like this huge cement room for your like food storage.
Oh,
It's just like
interesting.
all the houses usually come with it.
Why is that?
Utah's just really big on food storage and like preparedness,
So
and I
what
don't
you're
know.
saying is when the apocalypse comes, we're going to your house for hot dogs.
Yeah, well, I said Utah is. I didn't say I was. I'm like, but most of my neighbors are pretty well stocked. But it's funny because like, it's just a culture thing out here. But yeah, they're
Yeah.
really big on the preparedness, and like it's literally built into most houses. Most houses have the cold storage room, and I used to be good about it, and then I was like, "Ugh, I've got all this food and no natural disaster to use it for."
Right, like, oh darn, no apocalypse today, maybe
Yeah.
tomorrow. I
Well,
would
but then
say,
you're like,
like, for
oh.
here, our biggest, like, I think it's partially because, Texas is not prepared for the weather. So I think for here, especially like a couple years ago, we had snowpocalypse, lovingly referred to.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just basically where we had more snow than we usually do. And ERCOT, which manages the power down here, basically it did not manage it. And like we were without running water, or no, we were without electricity for like 2 days, and we're without running water for 5. Now, part of that was where we
Oh.
lived. Oh yeah, I was so ready for a shower by the time we were done.
I remembered seeing that on the news.
Yeah, it was intense. So part of it is it's the struggle of our electrical grid when things start to get too cold. Like they've already been telling us that this summer that we need to be prepared for like rolling brownouts, blackouts,
Blackouts.
whatever it is. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, well, that's great. It gets up to be practically 110 sometimes, and you're telling me you can't manage it? Like, we need to have a talk, Texas. It gets really hot here. So we're kind of planning ahead, and we always keep a little bit of extra stock on hand, like like dry beans and rice and like all that
Right,
stuff
yeah.
usually helps. But also we have these little handheld AC units that aren't super powerful, but like they're personal units where there's like these little fabric curtain kind of things inside. So basically you get those wet, and then the little thing charges like a fan, and it's a little box. So basically it's blowing through these wet kind of fabric curtains. So when it comes out, it's a tiny little air conditioner. So in a
Huh.
pinch, it'll work. But I mean, we shouldn't have to, but that doesn't mean that we won't.
Yeah, we were looking at getting a portable AC unit, just in case, but we don't get a lot of blackouts. I mean, because Utah is a desert,
Yeah.
despite the fact that we have mountains and some
Well,
forest areas.
solar
We
power
are,
probably is great.
yeah, a lot of people have been doing solar out here. I'm on the fence about it, and it's one is because the placement of the panels would be like in the worst spot of my house. It would just be like
Yeah.
blah, and I'm like,
Wait,
ugh.
what would it be like?
I'll do it again. Blah. But no, it's just like I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna drive up and look at that crap. But I would have free
Yeah,
power, so I'm
that
like,
is
it's a good
true.
trade-off.
Yeah,
However, like
I think whenever we get settled, because we rent this place, we haven't bought yet because we
oh,
may be moving soon, and so I think wherever we end up buying a place, I might look into some backup solar because it would be nice not to have to rely on a power grid that's kind of sketchy.
right.
So it's just like, well, if we could have a backup, that would be absolutely fantastic.
And that's kind of what we've been looking into. Just a few of our neighbors have already installed it, but they've been having problems because, like, you have to get it once you install it, it has to be approved by the
Mhm.
local power company,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and they take their sweet time to approve it and then take you off the grid, like so that you can live solely off your solar panels.
Wait, you can't have the option of doing both?
You can, but you s- I don't know how it exactly works. It's getting confusing these days because now they have the
Yeah.
battery packs and everything. It was
Mhm.
a lot simpler back in the day, but like I have one friend, her system's older, so like her power still goes out when the power goes out because hers doesn't have the battery.
Yeah.
But the one my neighbors installed
Yeah, because
has
it
the
like
battery.
stores up the extra energy, right?
Yeah, so if you have the battery one, it stores it up so that like if the power goes out on the grid, you can live off of that.
That's
But
interesting that you have to get that approved. Like, I feel like that should just
yeah,
be something you can just purchase yourself and have it as a backup for, when it inevitably the power goes out. Of course, I haven't looked
yeah,
into it, so like it's news to me for sure, but that's interesting.
yeah, because out here, I know you can sell like your excess energy that you collect back
How
to
would
the
you do
power
that? Like
company.
sell the battery to the Oh, you can sell it back to the company.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Like I said, I haven't looked into it much, but like I know you can like sell it back to them because you're not using it. But I'm like, so how do you sell what you don't use? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
quite confusing.
that sounds really confusing. Like I would have no idea how to go about that. I don't know. There's a
Me
lot
either.
of adulting stuff I have not learned yet. Like, I don't know.
There's
At some
just too
point we should
much to
probably look
do.
into investments and like all these things, be like, like I said, we need an adulting handbook, that includes parenting advice and everything else. Be like, if you could just let me know what are the things that I'm gonna need to figure out, that would be great. Like, I don't know. I
Well,
still feel
and
like, they got rid of like home ec and stuff. Like they need to bring back home ec. They need to have a whole course on how to do your taxes, how to manage your money. Like, I don't need to know trigonometry. I color with colors. Like, I need
yeah.
to know how to balance my bank account. Like, I mean, not really because I've
uh,
already learned that. But what I'm saying is if we're talking, you know, life lessons as a new adult, these are the things we should be learning. Hi,
Hi,
Angela.
Angela. Yeah, it's so they have like home ec kind of for my son, but they changed it to oh crap, I can't remember what they call it now. It's nothing close to the words home ec, but
Yeah.
he like learned really basic like recipes and like
Oh,
a few
that's
things.
nice.
Oh gosh, what was it called? I think it was called like career preparedness. Yeah, it was home ec. So I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what are we teaching career wise here?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and see,
But
that's what they because they taught us. Sure, there was some sewing stuff, but like even the stuff where it's like, okay, you don't take a pan and immediately, straight off the stove, put it under water because then it can warp the pan. Like it was simple stuff like that. Like you
right.
should, like it's handy to learn. And of course, there was some cooking stuff. But I remember when they got rid of it because I had the class in 8th grade, and then the next year it was gone, and it's just like we need to I don't know. I feel like there's some level of that. I mean, I know it's, up to the parents to also teach, but the fact of the matter is, not all kids are lucky enough to have parents that will teach them that. So if it was something they could
Well,
learn, that would be fantastic.
and let's face it, sometimes our kids don't really learn things well from
Right?
us.
Yes.
Like, because there's plenty I could teach my kids, but they just get like annoyed or don't want to. They're like, "Ugh, mother,
Yes,
So
right.
it's like,
Exactly.
I'd rather have some teacher just be like, "Listen, this is how you wash a pan," and then my son wash the pan because we butt
Right?
heads on that all
Or
the
how to
time.
load a dishwasher. You don't want to put the sharp knives pointing up because someone's going to stab themselves.
Oh my gosh. Or like you can't put everything on top of one another so that the jets
Otherwise,
miss
yeah.
nothing,
And although it's a good dishwasher, you do need to take the large chunks of food off the plate before you put it in the dishwasher.
Oh, that's like the biggest battle in my house. But even like with my husband, I'm like, listen, dear, I know it's a nice dishwasher, but we do in fact have to rinse the food
We
off.
don't want to abuse the dishwasher or it's
Yeah.
going to revolt. Or even just like the simples of sorting your laundry or pre-soaking or treating a
Yeah.
stain or, I
Yeah,
suppose
see
it's
all
right up
those
there with like
things.
maybe they should have included in kindergarten how to tie your shoe, but we teach them that. But there's just some simple life stuff: how to do taxes, how to balance your checkbook, how to save money, how to not go into massive debt. Like these are, I feel like,
Yeah.
things we should all learn. Like this is the responsible way to use a credit card. This is that. Like it's all these actual life lessons. And although, the life cycle of a frog is very important to learn, maybe we should teach some actual survival skills.
I mean, but you think about it, right? Like, it sucks because one, they're doing math totally different than how I learned. So
Right?
when I,
Yes. I
yeah,
just straight up give the math stuff to Steve. I was like, look, I was terrible at math even when I was supposed to be learning it. And now
yeah.
I don't even, please, our children will come out like less smart if I try to teach them anything.
Well, I tried to help my son with his, like, because he's in junior high now and they're doing more advanced math. And I too was always really bad at math. But
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, okay, I know this. I know how to do like, these equations. Then I look at it and I'm like, duh. And so I'm like reading through his book and trying to figure out like, okay, do this. And I'm like, wait, this isn't how we did it in school. And like they're actually showing more work now than when
Right?
I was in school.
See, the interesting
So
thing is, so little Steve is like, he blows my mind at how good. I like when we go to get a haircut for him. Like he's usually kind of squirmy. I haven't ever said his age, but he's younger, and so he's pretty squirmy. It's hard to. He will sit still if I give him math problems, and like,
huh.
yeah, it's out like the ladies where we go to get his haircut, like they know that he's the math guy, and so we'll go
Math
in. But
guy.
it's interesting because I've had him explain to me how it is that he came, like basically show your work. How is it that you came to this answer? And the way he explains it, and I'm just like, oh my God, my brain never like even considered that way. But the funny thing is that's how Steve's brain worked. Like it makes sense to him how little Steve is doing his math. And I'm like, I need either a calculator or a piece of paper, please. And then I need someone to check my work.
Let's see. After 40 said mine has to write an essay for every math problem.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
that's kind of how my son's is. Like, he has a bad grade in math, and my son's actually he scores well above his grade,
Yeah.
and his grades have been bad lately because he's just like flustered at the amount of work he has to do to submit a single assignment.
Oh yeah.
Because if he doesn't write out the entire thing for his math, he doesn't get credit, even if the answer's right. And he's
Really?
like, yeah. And then it's because the teacher wants them to learn this ridiculous method. But I spoke to one of his teachers because I was like, listen, if he's getting the answer right and he's doing it
Right?
more shorthand with how he's showing you how he got there, who freaking cares? Like, this is ridiculous that you're going to fail him because he didn't spend an hour writing out a whole
Yeah.
page explanation because he did half of it in his head. But it's so ridiculous, like how complicated. Like my girls' math classes, like my youngest, when she was doing math, it was like sticks and dots that they were
Yeah.
having to use. And I'm like, what the heck is this stick and dot crap?
Yes,
Like,
yes, I saw it there. It's like, oh, what is the name for it? There's a name for that kind of math. And I'm just like, I got nothing. Like, I cannot tell you
yeah.
how glad I am that I married someone like Steve. Steve was almost a math major in college. Like, he almost went into that, but he just didn't find it fun, which I mean, I get because I don't like
Yeah.
numbers. Sorry, Ev. Ev, I know you like math, but it's just not my friend. But I cannot tell you how relieved I was to marry someone who understood it with no problem. Because come the day that my kids are in high school and they bring home calculus, like I'm gonna be
Oh,
like, I you want a cookie, hun? I got cookies. Like I got some crayons. We can do that. I'm gonna definitely be calling on Steve because it's over my head, like way over my head.
yeah, I can't handle the math today. Like and the thing is like the one that my kids were doing in elementary school, I asked the teacher because I was like, look, how the heck am I supposed to help them with
Yeah.
this math? I almost need to take a course in it. And then she goes,
Right?
"Oh, well, don't worry because once they get into junior high, they actually go back to the more traditional way." And then I'm like, "So why the heck are we
Why are we
torturing
doing this?
them?
Yeah. Oh my
You're
gosh.
torturing me too because I'm sitting there like, I don't know how to do these sticks and dots. Like, what the
Oh my
heck does a
gosh.
stick mean?"
I cannot. Yeah, yeah, no, I will be passing the buck to Steve when it comes to math homework because I just honestly, I was there was a day Steve wasn't here and little Steve came home with some math homework and there was something. I don't remember what it was. It was pretty straightforward stuff and I was like, "Oh, surely I can get it." But there was this problem and I mean, we're talking this is primary school stuff, okay? There was this problem and I was just like and so I actually had to call like little Emily downstairs, and I was like, "Honey, can you help little Steve with his math because I'm sort of lost." And she kind of rolled her eyes. She's like, "Okay," and she's like, "Let me show you how to do it." I'm like, "Well, thank God my children are smart."
I know. I have to have
Thank
my
God they
son
take
help
after
them.
Steve.
Well, like my husband has tried to help my son with some of his because my husband's a math guy, but some of the stuff or the way they're doing it, he's like, "Why? Like, why
Yeah.
are we doing it this way?" Because he uses math all the time in his job.
Right? I feel
Um,
like if you can come to the right answer, it doesn't really need to be a specific way.
yeah, and it doesn't require like a page long like formula. I mean, if
Yeah.
you, I get that they want to see you do some work to prove you didn't just like ask Alexa
Yeah,
how to
just
do
write it
it.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're like typing out or writing out like some good basics, I mean, let's just call it a day, okay? And let's
Exactly.
be like the worst part is I'm sitting there like, I can tell you guys, I didn't use any of this math as an adult. Like,
I know.
I
Like I
haven't
have to
touched
reel
it.
myself in because like they'll be like saying like, "Oh, well, we're doing this, this, and this," and then it's like deep down I want to tell them like, "All right, guys, I got to be honest. Like
Yeah.
school is a way for you to learn what it is you want to do with your life. I
Yeah.
don't use any of this stuff anymore. But of course, I need to encourage
Yeah.
them in their schooling. And because the fact of the matter is, it is going to help them decide what they want to do for a career. But my
Oh yeah.
particular career, where I work for a couple, outside companies, and I do this. And you know what? None of my career uses algebra or whatever else. Now, granted, that is the career I chose. And so maybe, if they want to be an engineer or something, it will use that, but I'm just like, I got nothing for you guys. I am the wrong person to encourage you to do your math homework.
Well, like, cause I mean, and let's be real, as adults, right? We're like, I'm just gonna use this calculator on
Yes,
my phone.
right.
Like, I don't
I haven't
need
picked up a TI-83 since I decided I didn't want to go to college anymore. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
Well, that's the thing too,
I'm
is college doesn't even necessarily guarantee you a job anymore these days. I have a friend who was
no.
going to college the same time as me. She got her degree in English, and you know what? She hasn't touched it. Like she has not gotten a job that involved that. She works in healthcare now. But
Oh
she
yeah.
figured out what she wanted to do eventually. But I was just like, I got nothing. Good
I
luck,
mean, like,
kiddo.
that's the thing though, because I told my kids, I was like, you don't have to go to college. Like, it's up to you really if you want to or not. Because I mean, half the time, as long as you have a bachelor's degree in something, most companies will
Hmm.
hire you.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like they don't even give a crap. But it's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave that one in your guys' court.
Well, because
But
I
I
think
don't.
of when we were in high school and stuff. I mean, it's kind of like that formula when you grow up. You're supposed to, graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, get a
Yeah.
job, get married, have kids. Like that was the formula we were required to do through school. And it's just not necessary. Even the have kids part. Like there's so many like kids these days that are choosing not to have kids. And
Oh
as
yeah.
far as
Yeah.
like getting married and buying a house when you're 25 is not practical these days anymore. Like the economy is not conducive to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, heck, no one can buy a house right now. I mean, gosh, we were
Well,
like,
yeah.
we had thought about selling this one because of the hideous high school. And then I looked at the interest rates and I was like, no.
Yeah, right?
I about like, I was like, okay, let's see. If I were to buy a house even like a quarter of the price of the one I have now, I'll be paying just the same amount as a mortgage because of the
Mm-hmm.
interest rate. So I'm like, well, I guess we're just gonna stare at that pretty high school.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm shocked. I have a friend that just bought a house, and I'm like, "Are you sure about that? You sure you want to do that?" Like,
Well, see,
so,
even
okay.
renting, like the market is just insane. We got this place a couple years ago, and it was funny because it was we're the first ones to live here. It's new and everything. And this house, somebody was supposed to rent it, and then they backed out for whatever reason, and suddenly it popped up. We were able to snag it. The kitchen is amazing and huge and everything. But the hilarious part is, about a week later, after we were moved in, I was unloading boxes and unpacking everything, and this woman pulls up in the driveway, and I'm like, I don't recognize that car. And then she gets out, and I'm like, I don't recognize that woman. Then I'm watching her out the window, and she's like trying to look in our windows, and she's trying to like look in the fence, check out the yard. And I'm like, what on earth? So
Can
I
I
go
help
out there.
you?
Yeah, I'm like, can I help you? So I open the door, and I'm like, yeah, I did. I was like, can I help you? She's just like, oh, I was just, wanting to check out the house. I saw it was listed. I was just like, yeah, we moved in. And she's just like, so it's not on in my mind. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, sweetie, this was listed a week ago. You got to move a lot faster than this, because the
Yeah.
houses are like getting snapped up just like so fast. I'm just like, you got to understand, if this house was up last week, it's not going to be up this week. You got to be a lot faster than that. I'm like, now please stop trying to creep in my house.
Yeah, that's like kind of. I would have like called and been like, "Can we take this listing down?"
Well, that's the thing. It was already down. And so I'm just like, you mean like you didn't? If I was somebody going to look at a house, I would be double checking that the
Yeah.
house was still available. So, the fact that she must have like, bookmarked it or something. And so it was already off the listing. So she must have just written it down and remembered it or something.
Printed a
But I was just,
list.
yeah, but I was just like, yeah, we live here. Please stop trying to creep on my windows.
Yeah. Can you not be that weirdo
Yeah.
peering inside?
I mean, I get it if the house was still available. I mean, if that was the case, I'd be creeping in the windows too. But I was just like, nope, we live here. Please stop.
Ooh, I like what After 40 did.
Oh, see,
Dropped
yeah, I
out
was
of
gonna say,
university.
be an artist. I like it.
Oh no, but went to
A
Denmark.
monthly payment of 6,000.
Yeah,
Oh
see,
my
because
gosh.
interest rates. Yeah, because I mean, we looked at our house, and if we were to sell our house, someone would be paying an outrageous amount a month, which
Is
is
that
why
really what it
one's
costs
gonna.
these days? Like $6,000 a month for a mortgage?
Well,
Like,
I mean, interest rates are 6 to 7%.
oh
So
my
depending on
gosh.
how credit worthy you are.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But
and I haven't even really looked into houses or anything like that, because there's no point until we know where we're going to end up. Like, I can
right.
daydream about like, oh, someday we'll live here, but if we have no idea what town, let alone even what state we're going to, like, because each state varies as far as what it's got
Oh yeah.
available. So I was just like, there's absolutely no point in me trying to look for stuff right now.
Yeah, the housing market in Utah has turned into it reminds me of California. So the prices out here are nuts. I mean, it's great. We got a lot of equity now in this house, but
Yeah.
no one's going to buy it with these interest rates, not unless they've got a crap ton of money
absolutely,
to pay. So I'm like, ew.
Yeah, if it's paid for, that's a certain sense of security that you got right there.
Oh yeah.
With what Ev
I
said,
wish
yeah.
my house was
I mean,
paid
that's the
off.
same thing. That's the same thing why we're keeping the car, just because it's literally paid for. Like, we don't pay, both of our vehicles are paid for, so that's just one less thing we have to be worried about.
Oh my gosh, I was just telling my husband the other day. So my minivan was paid off, and it was great. But I was just over the minivan phase. Like, I wanted to finally
Yeah, well, and
have
if your kids aren't
a
so
vehicle.
young anymore, like, it's just
they were old enough to open doors and no longer hit the
I just
cars
realized
next to them.
something. We are literally doing opposite sides. Like, if you zoom out and see your picture, we're literally doing opposite sides of our picture. Like, we could
That's
literally
funny.
mash them together. Oh my gosh, seriously. Like, yeah, zoom out real quick. Zoom out real quick.
Hang on. Let me get my thing up real quick. I'm stretching over my paint.
Careful. Look at that. Literally, we've done things. I'm about to do these leaves, and you literally started on the second orchid. We just mash them together at this point. Together, we have completed an entire page.
See, look at that. We'll do some photo editing and be like, ta-da!
Dude, I totally could. Like, if you scan yours in, I could put them in together. That would be hilarious. And then we could do like a weird blend on like the background portion, like on the inside or something. That's hilarious. I did not realize that.
I didn't either. I was just
Yeah.
going this way
I was just
because this
looking
was
at it
like,
and I was like, oh, look, we're kind of coloring the same spot. And then I realized second orchid, we're literally exactly the same. Yeah, right,
yeah,
Angela? I hadn't even noticed. I was like, oh, okay.
I know. Like, I wouldn't have even noticed if you didn't point it out. Like, I'm
Right?
just like, la ti da. Maybe we did it subconsciously and didn't even know.
Probably. We're just like, well, you do one half, I'll do the other.
Yeah. You started on that orchid, so I'm gonna walk this way.
Yeah, seriously. Run into each other on the street. That's so
Uh,
funny.
oh man, I wish my house was paid off right now. Oh, it would be the dream. Then I'd be fine. I'd be like,
See,
whatever,
that's the
there's a high
thing too, is
school.
I feel like buying a house is like way overhyped. Like, especially
Yeah,
because like if something goes wrong with where we're at right now, like the rental company would pay. Now, granted,
yeah,
the apartment we needed to get out of because it was just getting too small for our family. But like for instance, our hot water heater went out on us when we were at the apartment, and within 3 hours they had a new one in and replaced, and it cost us $0 because it
right.
was, requirement of the apartment. Now, granted, it's a little bit different with the house. We're responsible for a little bit more, but for the most part, like if the AC or the heater goes out, like they're going to come fix it. And so there's a
Right.
sense of security with that. Absolutely.
The expensive stuff, yeah, because like I mean, actually, one of our houses at the time when we were buying our other one, it wasn't a great time to sell. So
Hmm.
we turned it into a rental while we bought our other one. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I hated being a landlord. Everything broke. Everything broke while it was like under rental. And I'm like, oh, because then it was on me to fix. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is the crappy thing. I swear. Like, because even this house, this is brand new. We bought it, it still has the fresh wood smell on occasion, but even a brand new house has like things that go wrong and break, and you're like, gosh darn it, it's brand
Yeah.
new. But there's just never any guarantee, and it's all on us. So I'm
Oh,
like,
exactly.
that's one thing I miss about renting. I'm like, oh shoot, the dishwasher broke. Not my problem. Like,
Yeah, so there's like some appliances. So our place came with the microwave and the dishwasher and the
stove.
Oh yeah, yeah. The only things we had to get when we moved in was the washer and dryer and the fridge. So if those go
Yeah,
out, those are on us. But yeah, otherwise, like most things that could go wrong, like obviously, if heaven forbid, we had any kind of like pest control issue, that would be something that we would need to take care of. But again, the house is brand new, so thankfully, that's not an issue. But anytime if it's going to be something, with the HVAC or with the foundation, God forbid, or something like that, that is
right.
covered under the rental company. So it's just like, well,
Oh yeah,
there's a
that's.
trade-off. The rental company's a pain to deal with sometimes, but
Oh, I remember we were only landlords for a year because we were just holding on to it till the market kind of upticked a little.
yeah.
But it was just a year, and that was like a nightmare. Everything broke. The AC went out, and I was like, oh, for Pete's sake. I swear the house knew we were selling it or something because it was like, no.
It's fighting back like, well, if
Yeah,
you're gonna do that, I'm gonna make this as miserable as possible for you. You
it
turn it into like
seriously
an
did.
Airbnb or something.
I should have. We almost thought of building on our back pasture, like because we're allowed to build like a granny flat, and we had thought of
Yeah.
building one for an
Wait, what's a granny
Airbnb.
flat?
It's like just a small little apartment, so like a one bedroom
Okay.
apartment, with a kitchen
Yeah.
and all that.
I've seen people
Um,
like transform shipping containers like into those kinds of things.
yeah, people have done that. You can like buy tiny homes and put them on a foundation out there
Oh,
and
that's
use them for
cool.
that. But like we had thought of doing that, but I was like, I don't want to run the power, sewer, and water lines all the way out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, by the time I finish that, but it is on one of our bucket lists because I'm like, we got to do something with this land. We're not farmers, so and we're
Well,
not horse
that's when you've got
people.
your husky rescue. So, now
I
you got
know.
you could build husky houses back there. How is that
We
going,
are
by the way?
so we're in the process. We've been boarding dogs, but I haven't started rescuing any huskies because I need to train Harper, the one that had the
Mm,
broken leg,
yeah.
first and get her trained and squared away before I put my mental energy onto another dog. But
Oh, yeah.
um it's hilarious because my husband sent me this picture of a husky. His animal control where the city he works at found another husky, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
because
"What?
as a
You want me to buy
firefighter,
another
like
one?"
he's usually like in on that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he sent it to me, and I'm like, "Do you want me to buy another one?
You're
Like,
like,
or
because I will.
rescue another one?" I mean, I have a soft spot, and so like I'll be that person that goes and I'll be the freaking crazy husky lady with 5 huskies. But I was like, stop sending me these things because I will go to animal control and claim
Eventually, there
it.
will be enough huskies that they'll manage themselves. Either that, or they'll start a husky army and like rise up.
Revolt.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Well, so funny thing is like Harper's finally settled in. I mean, granted, she was only with us a couple weeks before she got hurt, so she's
Yeah.
probably like initially she was like, "Oh,
Now,
thanks for the
Harper was
rescue,
the one
guys."
who was kind of skittish at first, right? Like she didn't really want to
Yeah,
interact. Yeah.
she's skittish because she was a stray and she's 4 years old and she was
It almost
abandoned and
baffles me when those really popular breeds, like if somebody finds a stray golden retriever, like
yeah.
who lets their golden retriever become now, you obviously don't know the stories, but still, it's like it's a golden retriever. People pay thousands of dollars for this kind of dog.
Well, and huskies, it's so huskies are actually one of the top abandoned breeds because they
Really?
are a very difficult breed. Oh yeah, they're a pain in the butt.
Well, no, I just mean
they're
like about the abandoned, like I'm surprised.
It's because they are very hyper, very stubborn. They're a working dog breed, so they
Yeah.
require a lot
A
of
lot of
mental
energy and
and
yeah.
physical activity. Yeah. And don't think if you have more than one, they'll tire each other out. No, no, they just make each other more hyper.
They get each other
But
all worked up.
yeah, and they're diggers and they are escape artists. I mean, there's a lot of they're a frustrating breed and they're really hard to train. I mean, they're the breed where you say sit, they look at you and straight up stare you in the eye, like making sure you
Be
know
like,
that
you
they know
sit.
what you said, and then they walk away. And like you're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh my gosh." Like they're a rough one because they're just too smart. But
Yeah.
people will, either their husky is escaped and they don't have them chipped. All of mine are chipped and
Yeah.
GPSed, but
Oh, yeah, for
be-
sure. I mean, yours tend to like as soon as the doors
uh,
open, they're like, "See you, ma, peace out."
yeah, the ones that are trained don't do that, but Harper will dart out that door still, and I'm like, have we not learned our lesson? So she hasn't because she's like, I'm gonna just run away. But
They're like, "No, I have an appointment with the chickens down the street. Peace out."
well, and the other thing is oh, see ya, Evelyn. The
Bye,
thing with huskies
Ev.
is they're not loyal. So like they'll literally run away from
Oh,
you and not care. Like they're like, whatever, someone else will feed me. That's so they
that's
tend to be
hilarious.
strays.
So
So
they're
there's
like
so
part
many.
cat.
Oh yeah, pretty much. They actually do have a lot of cat like mannerisms. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
But I'm just like they're a pain in the butt. So they'll run away. People will either like turn them in because they can't handle the energy and destruction if you don't exercise them. Or they just, because they have horrible recall. Like seriously, they'll stare at you and you'll be like, "Come," and they'll run away. And they're like, "No, I'm not coming to you." And so people just abandon them, and that's why
Oh,
we're doing the husky
puppies.
rescue. They're
Yeah.
beautiful dogs. It's just people don't understand the
What
breed.
it'll take to take care of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're very high maintenance. They're freaking divas, and they're the only breed that has no problem talking back to you like a freaking
And when they
teenager.
talk, it really is like they talk. Do you ever see that clip that goes around of that husky that was like yowling, and then they compared it to like Will Smith when he yells?
No,
I'll just see if
I'll
I
have to
can
look that
find it.
one up.
But like he's like going, doing the woo 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 kind of thing. But they
Yeah.
paired it with a clip of Will Smith when he's like yelling or something. Like what was that? That
Oh
one where he was
my
like a
gosh.
dating guy and like he has like an allergic like fish
Oh
reaction and his face swells up. It's like that. But then anyway, I'll see if I can find it and send it to you. It's pretty hilarious.
yeah. See, I have to look at that. But yeah, mine talk back. Like Scout's the worst. Like I'll say Scout sit, and she'll just. "Rah, rah, rah." I'm like, listen, I said sit. Like it's not that hard.
She's like, you
But
sit.
yeah, it's just funny when they talk back to you, and then they really get this snarky look on their face when they talk back, and you're like, okay, I'm human, I'm the person that feeds you, like listen.
He's
But
just like, no, well, I'm the dog, and that means that I'm smarter than the human.
Oh yeah, and they're divas, big divas. Like, oh
That's
my gosh, they'll
hilarious.
howl and cry if you like put them in the bath. They're like, "No, I don't want my
Yeah, the
bath."
world's coming to an end.
But they're a
That's so
hoot. I
funny.
love them. But
I haven't
oh,
decided what kind of
Hitch.
dog I want of it. Yeah, Hitch. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I I remember that movie. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that in forever. Yeah,
Yeah,
dogs
no, I
are
think I don't know. We'll probably check a shelter when it's time for us to like get a dog, but I definitely wanna do something.
yeah, just I mean, my thing is I always just tell people like pick something that suits your lifestyle. Like with
Mm-hmm.
me, for example, huskies, you really should not leave them home alone. Like so if you work out of the house, not a good breed for that. I mean, you can
Yeah.
kennel them, but you'll pay for it later because they will seriously lecture you
Mhm.
for like an hour after you let them out of that kennel. I kenneled Harper once for an hour and she like
She never let you
would
forget
not let
it.
it go. No, she was
Like,
like
how dare
sitting there
you?
all day just snarky. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was an hour.
It was an hour of my life and it seemed like forever. I have no sense
I
of
know.
time, Mom.
Well, and she was a stray. So she, she's like, listen, woman, I'm meant to be free. But
I
and she has these eyes that seriously like stare so deep into your soul.
was
It's
gonna
like you
say
feel
huskies are
guilty.
so pretty.
I know. They really are. They're just big goofballs. They're fun. They're just a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
But I love my little floofers. They all need to go to the groomer though, because oh my gosh, this shedding. I'm vacuuming daily. My shark has never seen so much action. Poor
I know,
thing.
right? If I forget the like the upstairs rugs on occasion because we have area rugs that we keep upstairs. And so like I'll bring the vacuum up and give it a good vacuum and like I go over it like 3 times and it's like it's only been a week since I last vacuumed. Like I feel like you guys should be bald with how much like fur you're losing. Like I don't even know how this is happening.
See, so I'll vacuum and like the canister will fill after one room. I have to
Right?
dump it
Yes.
and then do it again. And I'm like, but this is daily. I'm vacuuming daily because they're
Oh my
shedding so
gosh.
munot right now.
How
And
do
so
you
like,
like keep it off all your clothes and like your furniture and stuff? Are they allowed on the furniture or no?
oh heck no, no. They're not allowed on any furniture. They keep getting up on it, trying to
Well, it
push
doesn't
that little
stop
limit.
them, but yeah.
But no, like they're not allowed on furniture. And so like there's always I know when I've come home, they've been on the furniture because there's like fur. And I'm like, okay, who did this?
Yeah.
But no, we keep it at bay like by using a furminator. It's like that brush that pulls
Yeah,
out the
yeah. We've got one of
undercoat.
those for the cats. Like it's the only thing
Yeah.
that can get it all off.
It doesn't get most of theirs out. Like they need to go to the groomer and get a full blowout. I'm just like, ugh,
Well, and
I don't want
Isis is the only one with a little bit of an undercoat, so we have to be careful. Like we don't use the Furminator on the other two cats too often because I mean the Furminator will continue to take hair out even if it's
to.
hair that's
Yeah.
not supposed to come out. So I have to like limit myself at some point. Be like, okay, well this is officially the stopping point, or the cat's gonna go bald.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with those things because they do have a grip and they just pull whatever's loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Bald cat. But no,
That's
we do the Furminator, and then we do have them when they hit shedding season. Wow, that's rough.
shush,
Um,
shush, shush, shush.
I know we go and have them blown out by the groomer, so I gotta schedule all four of them.
How long does it take for like if you take all four of them? How long does it take the groomer to get it all done?
Well, we've had the same groomer grooming all of our dogs for like 3 years, so she knows all of them. But
Oh, that's nice.
she it usually takes her though about 2 to 3 hours per dog. Like she's
Oh,
brushing them
dang.
for like up to an hour sometimes. But yeah, like they just look like a hot mess. Like they got these little poofs of fur just like dangling, and I'm like, no, don't fall on my floor. So I'm sitting there like plucking them, like I'm plucking feathers off a turkey or something. I don't know.
Prepping them for the summer season. That's all.
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm like sitting there. But yeah, I've got to get them in because I cannot. It's like killing my allergies too.
Wait, are you allergic to dogs and you have huskies?
No, I'm not allergic. It's just when you combine it with like all the pollen and crap that they get up
That's
in their
fair.
fur.
Yeah, because I'm not allergic to the cats, but like if the cats are up here on the desk during stream, like and the fur starts to kind of, if I'm petting them and it's everywhere, like it just
Yeah.
automatically makes my nose itchy. There's something about like if somebody were to tickle your nose with a feather, you can't help but,
Exactly.
but sneeze a little bit. Like it's a reaction. You can't help it. So I
It's
just
just
realized we're coming up on like 20 minutes from 3 hours here. What was
oh,
our plan for today?
yeah, we'll probably want to end this then, because I have a kid with a broken arm that probably is due for some meds.
Yes. I feel like we did pretty good though. I mean,
I
considering.
know. I think so. Yeah, we're pretty much like we've got our little 50-50
Yeah, our
diagram.
little sections. Yeah, so we each did a side. We can combine them. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. Do you have a scanner?
I use my phone, but it'll scan just fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you should send it to me, and then maybe I have a photo merge program where if I've got a page that's too large to be scanned, basically I scan the different angles, and then the
Okay.
program recognizes the different lines, and we may be able to merge it, and then there'll be some overlap with the colors and stuff. I'll play with it. It will be fun.
Well, that will be okay. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
send that to you after I go medicate a child.
There you go.
She's probably like, "Mom."
Yeah.
But
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, mine definitely looks kind of strongly yellow, but I think we
I
managed it
mean,
pretty good.
I think you did fine. I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny though, like to see the differences, right? Because we both use
Yeah.
neons, and they still turned out like totally different. So that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
exactly.
Just goes to show that neons, I guess, are versatile. Not that I want to
Yes,
use them.
exactly. Hashtag long live the neon.
Um, well, thank you everyone for joining us and watching us blind ourselves. Oh, probably have to go blink a few
Right?
times.
Maryland
But
Photoshop. Photoshop has a photo merge program.
so that's what you use. Cool. I'll have to.
Yeah. Yeah. If you put them in the same file, there's literally a thing where you can do photo merge and then you select all of the photos that you want in it. And then sometimes it doesn't line up, quite correctly if it's not,
Right.
exact, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a nice flat scan. I mean, my book's actually sitting really flat because this one's my
Yeah.
old one, so I'll get a good one. But
Okay.
thank you guys for hanging out with us, and then
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having me.
Emily, for your awesome neon idea. Like my neons actually got some love, so
Right? I
this.
know. Like, got some shorter ones going on here now.
I know. I actually sharpened like some of these that'll like never get used after this page gets finished, but. No, this was fun. We'll have to come up with another fun challenge. Not one
Yeah.
that requires sunglasses. So
Yeah. Right.
but all right. Well, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday afternoon or whatever it is for you. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.